Go ahead and start it that way.
No, I mean the only reason I'm
we
mentioning that
definitely
is
have
like
to lead with that.
we started with the whole, sometimes people just gotta suffer, and I'm kind of like, it can't be that long. I'm like, man, the Great Depression was 10 years long, bro. I was like, yes, that's a long time to be in soup lines. Like, it's a long time to just be like, yeah, I guess we just all don't have houses. Like, I don't know about that one. I think I'd be in the streets with my Glock. It's like, what's up? I'm gonna need some of that. I'm gonna need some of that.
Come off that soup, son.
You need to come off that soup, son. Ouch. And there better be peas in that boy. I don't play no games. So some vegetables. Better not just be hot water.
So is it safe to say, because this is the show, Trustless Degens, it's the podcast where we talk about all things Web3, crypto, macro, basically insert buzzword here. And I feel like Infinite, is it safe to say that that's your opinion of the market currently? That's kind of like your feels in the market? Is borderline blood in the streets? What is this? What, like, Satoshi, explain why you and Bitfiend hate each other. Is Bitfiend there? We'll see if he gets yeah, he is there. Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, so now I know that you and Satoshi actually have a thing going down where one of you just decides to leave anytime the other one's on the podcast. So I understand now.
Wait, is that what he just left?
Like, bro, you guys, like, no way. It's no way.
I didn't leave. My shit's being a little jank. Jank.
All right, yeah, because I was just talking to Bitfiend, calling out how you guys got this little system you like to play on me.
I don't like what Bitfiend is on the stream.
I'm jumping in.
I can't
back out for a second.
And then he talks, and then I want to talk, and then I'm just playing.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, we're just going over general sentiment for the current market. Gonna do a nice little around the horn of this, see how everybody's feeling before we start to dig into different topics today. In the Infinite, it's leading us off.
Okay, I'll lead us off. Tesla, from my understanding, down really bad.
Dumped on, huh? They've been getting that old fashioned dumperuno.
It's not looking good, and I have a hard time understanding whether or not his companies will go up in smoke and what that means for the larger kind of like feeling of everything. But I don't know. I'm kind of like neutral, and I'm just hoping, not necessarily for a soft landing as they put it, but I'm waiting to see like the wheels kind of come off the car, and hopefully we come to a full stop and put the wheels back on. And it's kind of where I'm at, where it's like something's gonna break. When, where, and how, I guess that's anybody's guess. That's certainly where I'm at.
All right, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna make one quick comment, which is like I almost feel like it's like a psych out like move by the government. Like if we were playing basketball, they just did like a quick fake and like, oh, you still got the ball. You still got the ball.
Like, you almost bit.
And like more so like not just like the guy, but like the more so I guess like the media kind of doing that a little bit with some of these titles and stuff. Because I haven't looked into Elon Musk like net worth or like the total net worth still, right? But I have seen recent articles like first man in the world to lose $200 billion. And I'm like, that's quite the call. We all know what he's invested in over the last few years, like publicly and stuff like that. We all know the FTX situation just happened. However, I'm pretty sure he's still sitting pretty nice. He's sitting just fine. So I'm like, that's why I'm like, it almost feels like they're doing a little. Yeah, I still got it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like you said, it's not like a statement anybody should take lightly. Yeah, he just lost $200 billion today. It's like no matter which way you slice
$200 billion to a goblin.
Come on now. It was like, come on now. Come on now. It's like, there's no slight difference between, $200 billion and kind of like, you can't just be like, you know what? He probably still cool. It's like, no, bro.
I think he is though. Like the rate, the amount of money, like I'd have to look up his net worth still though. That's my thing. Well, I'm like, yeah, it hurts to lose $200 billion. I'm sure it does. You're the richest man on earth though. I'm pretty like, I feel like you good. in the rate of speed that Tesla gained money. I believe, like, I forget this, like I was doing this research before, and it was something like they caught up to, like, the big companies like GM and like Ford and all these other companies at like such an incredible speed. It would have been like as if they earned like $10,000 like every day since the fucking pyramids were made, like, or like every minute or some ridiculous stat. Like, that's how much money they've been making. And so I'm like, yeah, down, but you make money at such an extreme rate, so fast, like never seen before fast. You are still like ultra wealthy. I'm pretty sure it's bad. It's bad, but you had that much to lose. It's like watching a high roller lose in a casino, and like, yeah, that looks like a lot. That looks like you want to go find the top of this like casino and maybe jump, like, me. But the high roller is like, all right, well, it's gonna have to be a smaller breakfast. Is that okay? I will only have 4 cows in the living room. Like, what does that even mean?
From my understanding, that the only venture that he actually has that actually makes a bunch of money would be like PayPal, and I'm thinking he made most of that money off the sell of a lot of his.
Well, I was
PayPal.
referring to Tesla as the one that caught up to the big boy companies and stuff like that, and the amount of money that they make. So
From
that wasn't
my
referring to PayPal.
My understanding though is that that's all pretty much fundraising. That's actually not his company making money. I was always under the understanding that they don't make money selling cars. They make a lot of money selling the hype around the cars and so on and so forth, and what they possibly think that Tesla can do in the long run, which is revolutionize transportation. And if they did that, then yeah, they deserve that kind of evaluation. But
just to keep this moving, Elon Musk net worth today, $146 billion, and so like that's kind of like that still stands to my point. Yeah, it hurts, but I only have, like, who's the next closest person to you with that much money still? You're a little less closer to a trillion. I guess you got to start over, but you also made it at such an incredible rate that it's like, yeah. So it is what it is. But we'll see. We'll see. My guess is that he's not going to lose the next 146 billion tomorrow or in a year. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, Bitfiend, I want to get your impression. How are you feeling about the market in general? Could be anything. I promise I won't have alternate Elon Musk opinions on you. No, I can't promise that.
I'm still feeling pretty good about the market myself. I mean, I'm always bullish on cryptos. I know that it's been down. I just when it does start to crash, I kind of just stop looking. So to be honest, I actually haven't looked. I mean, I pull up the market, and it's what keeps me sane for the most part. But I did buy some Matic at about 83 cents about last week. I've been doing, my thing is Matic. I think Matic is the play during this bear market. And I mean, I stay bullish. Some people say it's dead, but I mean, I'm looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB. I can't ignore Doge.
I like that you're covering that, because like there's a question that I'm going to ask you to get everybody this question again later on in today's stream. I'm curious, like, what the top 5 coins everybody's still interested in. But you said Matic, Doge, BNB. So far, I'm
let's see: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, Doge, BNB, the Graph, and Chainlink. But then there's still, I have like a top 20 list that I can't ignore, and like Cosmos is one of them. Cardano.
You out here saying some alpha leaks for real, for like the blue chips that like the people should probably know about, that are like, this is like it's like a Litecoin level of a bet. I would say I'm going to compare it to a Litecoin level of a bet, just because with every bull market, Litecoin is going to go up. There's no doubting.
Oh, yeah.
It's like its place and its cementedness. It doesn't, like, even if there was like no crazy developments, like, it would go up. It's going to happen. And like, I'm like, these are like blue chips that have like the Litecoin scenario where like they're going to have that level of development and stuff. So there's extra incentive there, but they're definitely going to go up in the next bear market or bull market, I think. Just from like all the utility.
I mean, there's so many on the top 100 list that are hard to ignore, like Near Protocol, Clayton, Cake.
I'm like
Phantom,
Doge. No.
Decentraland. Yeah, don't
So,
sleep on
so
Doge.
somewhat of a joke. Like I feel like we're gonna move on to Satoshi quickly, but I feel like one of the things with Doge, and I'll let you wrap up, is that at least something I've noticed recently is that I feel like the Doge founders are trying as hard as possible to like shoot Doge in the paw, like all 4 paws if possible.
Well,
Like
because they made it as a meme. The thing is, it was a joke.
Yeah.
So like,
they like don't want it to
Dogecoin wasn't
succeed,
supposed to make it.
or like they just really don't
Dogecoin
get
was
it.
like, the purpose of Dogecoin was to prove that cryptos were bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was designed to make fun of Bitcoin in its entirety, and look at how far it's come.
It's like hilarious to me
It
because
has like you have to realize that Dogecoin has successfully defeated the penny. And that says a lot about what it's going to do to the dollar, if you ask me. We got a $1.8 trillion market cap, I think. No, 1 trillion, not even 820 billion right now. And I would think, 10, 20 years from now, like the global GDP will have been consumed by cryptos entirely. And if the GDP is 80 trillion, even a $10 trillion market cap is very possible in the near future.
Feels it. All right, not to stay on this too long, we're gonna move to Satoshi. Again, we're just trying to. I want to. We're testing the waters. Like, how are you feeling about the market lately? Before we head into the rest of the show.
Lately, I feel like the market is still trying to find its. I don't know. It's trying to find its range a little bit. A lot of people are trying to figure out if they want to get back in now or wait a little bit. There's some interesting developments. People are getting back from holidays and stuff. As far as like crypto markets go, I feel like everyone just needs to be trying everything. You need to be trying everything, especially if it doesn't have a token. You need to try whatever it is and see how it works. Connect your wallets and try to get these airdrops.
Man,
because if you're not trying to get airdrops, well, I don't know. A lot of the airdrops I got, I wasn't even trying to get airdrops. I was just using shit like Uniswap. But you really got to try to use stuff, because that's how you're gonna make. That's how you're gonna like come up real quick in crypto. I don't know where I would be if I didn't get airdrops in cryptocurrency. So
it is nice. It is nice. Because those airdrops, man. Like I'm trying to include that in I'm doing this a whole $0 to $100 now. We started $0 to $10 crypto challenge. We beat the $10 in the first day, the first few minutes, just because that's how crypto worked. And so then I was like, okay, it's got to be $0 to 100, obviously. And I knew that was going to happen. But I have airdrops as part of it, where it's like this is like you can't really just know when the airdrop's going to happen all the time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But like sometimes like the free things that you get in crypto, it's just like you need to be curious and like go push some buttons and stuff like that, engage with the community. And then they're like, oh yeah, if you spend even 30 cents on some Gods and Chain tokens or cards, here's $10,000. Like what's wrong with y'all? That's how crypto works? That's really how crypto works. I don't know. Like that's
it's frustrating, but it's also really rewarding when it wants to be.
Yeah. Like is. Anyways, cool. That's how everybody's feeling. My general feelings. I feel like my feelings can be depicted by the banner card, the banner image for today on the YouTubes, which is the Bulls are back. Now, what do I mean by that? Because it's kind of a bullish title to have, right? It's like, oh, dang, this guy thinks it's full-on bull market. No, I did not say it's a bull market. That was you saying that. I never said that. Not financial advice. Yeah. No, but seriously, I don't think it's a bull market necessarily yet, but I do think all the bulls are back. I think anybody who's got like a bullish opinion, bullish voice is starting to realize that, I need to maybe start checking back in. I need to be looking for these airdrops like Satoshi's saying. I need to be learning things. This is not necessarily the time to not pay attention to the market. This is the time, and if you were out of the market last cycle, this is the time that you probably want to like start paying attention, get in. It's pretty dang low, like and like to be a doom and gloom and all the supreme person. I'm like, okay, Bitcoin worst case scenario that I can imagine before recklessness of like bullishness like happen would be like, wow, Bitcoin drops like another 50% from where it's at right now. You got 50% drop in Bitcoin right now would send in so many buys. Number one, I don't know how it would happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. That seems incredible at this point.
What's going to happen?
A 50% drop in Bitcoin.
Let me tell you, DCG and Genesis and all that shit, it's going to be a wick. It's going to be like boom, boom. It's going to be the sickest wick you've ever seen. And so it's going to wick down. It's going to wick down somewhere, and then it's going to come back up, and then
and even then, you're saying that's a wick.
We're talking at $8,000 Bitcoin, though.
Yeah, exactly. No. I'm saying like 8,000. I think if it hit something like that, like number one, I feel like it's got to be some type of cataclysmic, like nobody saw it coming type of event / you saw it coming, but like because I don't even think the Genesis stuff like that is like big enough to send it down 50%.
I think it's big enough to wick it down.
Like 20,
I think that the days of the $10,000 Bitcoin have sailed forever.
Yeah, I'm like, it's just gonna be really hard. So like again, this is me in like a worst case scenario. So like even if it does, and that's why I'm saying I think it's really hard for it to do that 50. And if we did have this like the Genesis situation or whatever, like it's Genesis and Kraken and Coinbase all at the same time, and it did do that wick as you're saying, or that drop down, I think it's only gonna go like 50. I don't think I'm like, can it go more than 50 at this point? There's some really greedy people out there that can make a nice double up really quickly, and they're like, it's gonna wick. Like, and I think anybody with money is like, it's gonna wick. Like everybody's just like, yeah, it's gonna wick. So we get in there, we shoot our shot. We all shoot, right?
Yeah.
And it just pops back up like so incredibly quick, and everybody, and like maybe it goes back down, and we see like a 12,000 Bitcoin like hovering level or something like that, or 10,000 Bitcoin hovering level, which tons of support around. I think that makes sense because people would be selling off the moment they got their double up. Like it went back to like, or anywhere near close back to the price from that wick action because everybody's going to jump in. So I'm like, yeah. And then you go a little tail off, but then anybody with like a year's worth of savings that like goes hard can all of a sudden start really like seriously investing in Bitcoin. And that's just too bullish for the entire scenario, especially in a world where we still haven't pulled out all the money from the previous government cups and Fed, fuck ups. Like in a world where we have that type of situation, I think there's still too much money around where we're increasing these interest rates and stuff like that. But a lot of people are just sitting on stacks. Like, yeah, I'm waiting on a better move. And so, yeah, that's my opinion on things. I think the bulls are back. I think all the influencers are back. I think the big players are back and taking things seriously, looking at the market. And yeah, if everybody is looking for that wick situation, what are the odds of the wick situation hitting? They start to slim up the more that everybody starts to assume the same thing. So we'll see, in my opinion. Quick shout out real quick. We'll say that I am doing a $0 to $100 crypto challenge. You can find some of that content on TikTok and on Hive blockchain. Also posting the shorts on YouTube. This is for anybody who's new to cryptocurrency that maybe just wants to get started. I started off with a $0 investment in crypto and turned that into thousands of dollars, which I still use today to make money. Yeah, go figure. And yeah, it's like a cool thing that you can do, like as Satoshi was talking about, with like just earning money. And you don't necessarily have to, if you don't have money, you can just learn, and you can call it getting lucky, but it's time in the market versus timing the market in cryptocurrency. Actually being involved will pay you insane dividends. So just wanted to give a shout out to that. I'm doing that, making the contents for that. I already have like $12 that I've earned from $0. Anything that I earn is an infinite return on investment. So, and I've already earned like over $12, and it's just going to keep going up.
Doing what?
Things like the Coinbase Learn program. So that's like $10. And then I turned it into Matic. Just converted it to some Matic. Obviously, Matic went up a little bit. Then I sent some of the Matic. This is the next step that I haven't fully flushed out yet, but I sent some of the Matic over to MetaMask wallet, minted some Zen, and that's so that I can mint Zen tokens with Zen token, I can, I did the math last night. I can basically give myself $2 for every wallet that I create with the 30-day threshold. I can make $2. And
how
like
many?
even if the price goes down, I still like make like about $1 a month. And so I can give myself $30 a month for every wallet, or $1 a month for every wallet that I make on Zen token, or 6 cents a day. So I can just give myself infinite money from these wallets from sending myself a small bit of Matic. And then I also made some Hive blogs, which earned some money. And then I'm playing some blockchain games. And so it's all like piling over, but it's coming from $0 that I'm making all this.
So you guys,
Fucking
you're
out
still
here
messing
hustling.
with the Zen tokens? I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the question about Zen?
You're still minting the Zen tokens and staking them?
I haven't been. Like, I already set up like my initial wallets. Like I did a few initially.
I did like 10 wallets too.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, exactly. I did like a few wallets initially, and then I haven't messed with it much since. But now that I'm going through this 0 to 100 crypto challenge thing, I'm going to go more heavily into it and mint up like a bunch more wallets off this other wallet, and just like turn it into like a little bit of a constant money machine, even if it's like $1. Like, because like I want to ladder stake it. And for those who don't know what ladder staking is basically when you use like some type of contract. Like let's say something was like within 30 days, I'll give you all of your money back, and then $1. So you're like, okay, I can make, I get my initial back and I make $1. And so you do one on day one, and then you do one on, so I enter the contract on day one. The next day I enter the contract again, maybe same amount of money. Next day I enter the contract again. And so then in 30 days, you got 1 day where you're getting paid. You got 2 days where you're getting paid. You got 3 days where you're getting paid, and you ladder stake it out like that so that you're consistently getting paid something. And so I'm going to do that with a Zen token, where I'm going to make all these different wallets and I'm going to ladder stake them out so that in a month, every single day of the next month, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to make a bunch, like it'll be a few wallets on each day. And so each day, like hopefully it's like $3 or $4. And it's just, and it's like, oh yeah, but it came from zero. So,
snowball effect.
Yeah.
You got a motherfucking master plan, huh?
It's a plan. It's a developing plan. It's a plan of a person who's been keeping their time in the market. But yeah, that's it for that. Wanted to keep the topics moving really quickly. Just gonna do a brief overview of this, folks. If you give me a hand, do we have any macro topics for today? Now I know the Fed. I'm gonna start us off with the Federal Reserve. I know the Fed had some comments about rate hikes where they were saying that they're potentially going to keep rate hikes high or at a similar rate into 2023 or throughout 2023, which is actually the news reporting on it kind of like is like it's unknown, but I feel like that was already known. I feel like they've said that all 2022, where they were like, yeah, it's going to become this. And before they were saying it, people were like stagflation. Like, what did you think that meant? So I'm not really surprised. But yeah, I don't know. That's my first bit of what I'll call macro news. Do you guys have any interesting macro news events that you can share with us today?
I mean, I know that FTX went home, or SBF. I read that the other day. I couldn't really believe that.
Yeah, it is a little strange, I guess.
Is it a little strange? Yeah,
it's not that strange.
Is the bail?
He may still go to jail, so who knows?
I don't even think it's May. I think it's going to happen. Yeah, just putting this up on screen. So people are like, it's not. We're not just saying things. Sometimes we got proof. So yeah, this just says the Fed minutes official cited strong hiring. Oh, this is not the one I was looking for. Where is it? S&P closes higher after Fed minutes confirm inflation focus.
I'm just seeing a lot of talk about a bull run coming.
Yeah,
like top analysts saying
the bulls are back.
Matic is going to outperform Bitcoin.
I wouldn't be crazily surprised. We wouldn't be like, oh, Matic. I think Matic is one of the tokens, and I'm just going to move this into that section next. I think Matic's one of the tokens is probably going to do like really well in this next bull run. There just seems like way too much. Well, we talked about it a lot now, right, on these different podcasts. But there's way too many industries and stuff like that moving into Matic. When I'm considering this 0 to 100 crypto challenge, where's the first place that I wanted to go? Matic. Like I wanted to get the tokens and go over to Matic because it costs like the the fees to get off of Coinbase and go over to Ethereum was like $1 or something of like whatever I had. It was like close to $2. To get on the Matic was 2 cents of the $10 they gave me for free.
Right.
Like,
can't go wrong with that.
I'm gonna take the 2 cents. Thank you. I'm out of here. I'll keep my coins over here, and I can buy pretty much everything they gave me on Matic, so I can just get them back and actually have custody of them. Like, it's wild. So yeah, definitely bullish on Matic.
Matic has definitely kind of just, it's that unexpected token that everyone's now using for something. And it's very interesting. So, I mean, I would not sleep on it. Dude, it's just like, so now probably the last couple months, I just randomly start thinking about Polygon. And I don't even like Polygon like that, but I just be like, man, Polygon's going to go nuts this next bull run. It's going to go so wild. And I don't know if people are ready for what it's going to do. I know I'm not, because I'm not like a Polygon maximalist or anything like that. But I think that, you know, it helps scale Ethereum. One of the first ones. I think that it and other solutions that help scale Ethereum are going to do well. But Polygon has been used a lot by a lot of mainstream businesses that are already out there. Their solution for blockchain is going to be Polygon now. So you don't want to sleep on it, like I have been recently. Definitely want to get some. And I mean, a lot of these market caps now that we have, like they look big, but they're not compared to stocks. Like, and so don't be afraid to get some Polygon, I think.
Yeah, and I want to let this kind of transition us into this other, which is like it's a DeFi topic, but I also consider DeFi to be a lot of these tokens. Like technically, Matic, like you technically DeFi, you know, come on. So I'm throwing Matic in the DeFi family, but I want to take a general look. This is still also kind of somewhat macro-ish in terms of the crypto market. It's more a macro look, but I like to go over here to DeFi Llama. This is a website where you can check out a lot of analytics on what's happening in the crypto market. So this just gives us a breakdown. And this thing is it's active today. So there's a new change that happened here. Can you spot the change that happened in the DeFi market? It's like one of those segments. I need a dog jumping around and it's Lido. It's Lido and MakerDAO. MakerDAO has been the #1 dog in DeFi for a long time. For those that aren't familiar with just the name MakerDAO, perhaps you're familiar with the name DAI or DAOs in general, or Maker, or compounding, or like there's all these different things that MakerDAO has a lot to do with. Also, RIP to MakerDAO's founder, who kicked the bucket was it 2 months ago now. Hopefully it's nothing to do with leadership not being the same. I don't think it is. Regardless, Lido takes the lead here in DeFi land and is now the #1 DApp in all of crypto. Whoosha. Yeah. Did you guys hear anything about that this week? Anybody hear any Lido Maker news?
I've been seeing a lot of tweets and stuff about Lido, but I don't really pay much attention to them. It's not really exactly what I'm looking at.
Let me get this. There was another update on I don't know what Lido did. I need to look into Lido to find out why exactly they took the spotlight from Maker. Because it makes me think of one other update from Maker that I know was big this week. So we'll see how long they can hold on. Lido can hold on to the top spot. Maker added a large portion of real world assets to their portfolio. So it is a DAO. They do use those earnings to go back into crypto and stuff like that. And so a large portion of those earnings is now also invested in the real world and real world assets. And I forget what specific, I think it's like real estate or something. But that is also part of the MakerDAO portfolio. Now, and I believe it has been for some time. It's just like a larger acquisition. And I need to find this without opening my work, Lappy Tappy. Let me go to their Twitter, see if I can find you guys a link to this. Get a little bit more specific. It wasn't that long ago. Here we go. Maker Protocol accumulates over 600 million in real world asset collateral. RWA is what they're calling that. MakerDAO opens 100 million DAI loan to Huntington Valley Bank.
They're loaning out all the money, huh?
Yeah, but Maker making some moves, integrating more so. And I just felt like this is like a really interesting topic because, again, Maker's part of the DeFi world. This is a DAO doing this. So a bunch of people deciding and competing with real world big banks. So I think it's an interesting thing to point out. And again, still just second now to Lido. And I believe this is due to Lido's like staked ETH thing. That's what I'm going to guess on. I need to do the research on it, but I believe it's probably something to do with Lido and the staked ETH. The fact that, and like, what does that mean? It means you can like stake ETH with Lido and earn some of the Ethereum network rewards for staking pools. That's just what they're called. Like, and so ETH switched to proof of stake instead of proof of work. Proof of work, you need machines to earn Ethereum. So graphics card and whatnot. And with proof of stake, you need actual Ethereum to earn Ethereum. And normally you need like 32 Ethereum or to join somebody else's pool to get some of those rewards. And so Lido allows you to do so with individual ETH staking. So I think that's partially why they're so successful right now. So good. So good. Let's see. Is there anything else in this top portion of the chart that might be interesting, catching eye? Aave Curve, Uniswap, Convex.
I like what's going on with Uniswap. I like that they're kind of tweaking their governance to
after we covered where they gave themselves a huge payout and then they were like,
that wasn't Uniswap. That wasn't Uniswap. That was Sushi.
Was it? Oh, Sushi. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, because Sushi switching their stuff too. So
Uniswap has a program where they can, like if they have like 37 delegates, and right now the way it works is if two of those delegates want to bring a proposal up to be voted on, like it gets brought up. And it was in that article that you shared, Smurf, that I read earlier. But it said that they're trying to make it to where they need more validators to bring things up for a proposal, which is interesting to me that they can change, certain things about how their DAO works. And, they're not afraid to, change up how things work. Like imagine if the election changed how they decided to, put a candidate up for vote or something. They see like if they change the threshold amount of votes you need to be considered a legit candidate. And so it's just like, I think that they're like they actually have a DAO that's going to be getting some type of revenue for the exchange that they have, or the DEX that they have. I think that them kind of tweaking the way that they're voting is interesting. That it's like a fluid situation where it's not something that's going to be the same 10 years from now. Probably be different, and it was less fair, and they're trying to make it more fair, which is what's interesting to me.
Yeah. See. Yeah, I like that. Especially comes on the heel of Vitalik making his own comments, the founder of Ethereum, making some comments about voting and how it's basically corrupted. We obviously had that conversation ourselves, and then Uniswap, who are some young guys and interested in like changing things, do it themselves. So happy to see it. Cool stuff from Uniswap. Yeah. And unless there are any other comments, we'll move on to a little bit of other news. This is more CeFi news. This is CeFi. This is CeFi related. This is CeFi. That's what I keep saying. Like it's not. This is not DeFi. This is CeFi. CeFi related. Yeah. So Cameron Winklevoss, who made the cover of today's Trustless Degens episode, congratulations, Cameron. First made headlines for being good buddies with Mark Zuckerberg. Now Crypto Boy Genius has this open letter to Barry Silbert and Satoshi. Would you like to? Actually, I think Satoshi might have stepped away. I was going to say, Satoshi, would you like to lead us through this a little bit? Oh, maybe.
Back. We're good. Yeah, this was some crypto drama that happened like yesterday, where Camera was like, "Barry, we need our fucking money, bro. Like, y'all got about $1 billion of our no, hang on, it was like 1.67
$1.67
billion.
billion dollars of
That's a lot.
our.
I'm gonna just let y'all know that 1 billion is a lot of billions, and that's a lot of money. And it's just like, dude. So
It ain't 200. Step down.
the top part of this article is like, it's like all these people who are affected by the Genesis Earn being paused, or Gemini Earn being paused. He talks about teachers and policemen and other people with regular ass jobs that put their hard earned money onto Gemini, and clearly Barry Silbert gives no fucks about those people, because his reply was like, we don't have any loans with Genesis or some shit. It's just like, man, it's annoying at this point that Cameron's even like putting this public statement out to Barry, like they haven't talked like back, like in the
Well,
back
he's
room
hoping
or
that
whatever.
BitBoy does something about it.
Yeah, he's gonna have to at this point, but I think BitBoy's got his hands full with all
BitBoy,
the
you
other
might go
shit
into
he's
his
taking
house.
on.
Come on,
Yeah.
BitBoy and Sam are done. They're
I
old news.
think
He needs
you
something new and
guys-
exciting in his life.
Yeah, everyone, you gotta be careful about these staking programs on on CeFi, like Smurf was saying. It's just that, man, like when there is like it's like being able to like count cards almost. Like these places are gonna get tested. Like, and if they have loans or they owe money to somebody, then if you give someone money and they owe money to somebody else, you just got to think like, where's my money going? Like, it's not really going to where I put it. It's going to pay somebody else. Like, and it's rough to even know that I put money in Gemini Earn, and really Gemini is giving your money to DCG, and DCG is trading your money and giving you a return on that. But DCG also owes money in a roundabout way to Genesis, and that means that you're giving Genesis your money because you're giving it to DCG. So
And
right now
that's
it's a
why
sticky
everybody's
situation.
being forced to show proof of reserves.
Yes. Which is
Yeah.
interesting. The proof of reserve debate is interesting too, because just like how do you show it to where everyone is like everyone's satisfied. There's different ways to show proof of reserve, and some ways are better than others. I guess I haven't even begun to get into that yet, but it's just like you gotta really be on top of where you have your money and who you trust with it, and knowing that centralized staking is risky. Decentralized staking is risky. Centralized staking is super risky because, you know, these people they're like loaning and borrowing a lot of money. It's not a smart contract. That delegates where your money goes to. It's a person with emotions, and they owe somebody money. So it's like, do you really want to give somebody money, especially after what happened with the whole FTX thing? Do you really want to loan someone money who owes somebody else money? No, that's not what we do. That's not what we do.
See, I feel like it's in my opinion, I was like, would I still do so? Potentially, but like more likely to what I get from these blockchain situations, which is I can see that it's over collateralized, similar to like what the DeFi Llama is trying to provide here, a little bit more transparency behind some of these centralized exchanges and their holdings and their inflows and outflows, so people can actually see more of this stuff, which is stuff that like I feel like you don't typically know about your general bank that people just trust to put money in. Because again, I made this statement before, but like, yeah, what's like we're all talking about the bank run on Bitcoin and assets from all these other exchanges and stuff like that. But go ahead and like have everybody start withdrawing from Key Bank or Chase or something like that tomorrow. Like, let's see how well that does. Like I doubt it's going to be any better than what China was experiencing when people started doing bank runs on their stuff like the last few months. Like it's not going to turn out that well, or not the way that people think. Everybody just thinks everything is over collateralized. We just have this situation in DeFi where things are over collateralized because one, you need that level of trust from people, and people can actually see things because they're transparent and on chain. And two, we don't want that situation. It's trying to fix some of these issues that have previously existed, where we know that these banks do not have all the money. Bank runs have happened. There's very few things holding them up from like not happening again. It's really just people's faith in it. Was why we don't have bank runs and stuff. People, oh, my money's safe, and people's lack of education on anything to do with banks. But yeah, general take on things. Yeah, it's nice to what I do it. Give my money to either a centralized entity or a decentralized entity. More likely to lean to decentralized entity due to the transparency of that entity. And in a centralized exchange situation or entity, because I'm saying exchange and entity just because like it could be like a bank or something like that. Like, I trust DeFi way more than I trust a bank, honestly. Quite honestly, especially in today's world. I'm like, I would rather, yeah, like let Bitcoin get stable coins and stuff like that too, and like decentralized stable coins on it. I would much rather hold my decentralized stable coins on the Bitcoin network versus any other network, for sure. Like 1,000.
One thing before we move on that I think is interesting is that like whatever's going on with DCG and Genesis and GBTC and all that, like they've been trying to raise money for months, like since the probably so we knew they were looking to start raising money probably like a month ago, which means that internally they probably know that there was a problem. They've probably been trying to raise money for longer than that, and they're not getting anywhere. It seems like so. It's like it's not really like they're running around asking people to invest in what they have going on, and people aren't investing, which tells me that their product is kind of trash. Like, their GBTC, all the shell companies, DCG and Genesis, it's just like it's the market is telling us that it's not looking great for them because they can't raise money because they're not legit. So we have to look for other things to risk our money on, I guess is what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, ask them if they get a passing grade and you get Gandalf. Yeah, you shall not pass. No. Yeah, any comments on that from you, Infinite?
Obviously I'm not as in deep in the weeds as you guys. I'm the normie of the group. If you don't remember the last time I came and spoke,
he's normie.
I'm a normie. All right, we got that out the way. And it's to me, it's kind of how I feel about investing in general. Is it's kind of all you put your best foot forward, and if you don't feel like it's I never feel secure. That's kind of the situation. I guess that's the best way to put it. I never quite feel secure with anything, and I just accept anything as a risk, and I just try not to invest more than I have and over collateralize, as you guys are putting it. That's kind of where I'm at, to where it's like I think in investing in general, this is kind of the game. Not to say that I don't believe what you guys are saying or anything like that. Just
risk come with everything. And I admit that with definitely the case with crypto, with DeFi, and blockchain, all this stuff. There's no way of saying that there's no risk associated. I accept, but I know the risk. I can see the risk. If I lose my money, I know it's because I clicked on this or that. I did something that would allow whatever malicious situation, or if the smart contract's being janked. Like, I know what's happening. I'm not going to have to rely on Sam Bankman-Fried doing podcast interviews on Twitter Spaces telling me that he had a ham sandwich when he was really stuffing peanut butter and jellies down his pockets.
Bro,
like I know what happened. Like I would rather just see it and know what it is versus not know and just let them say whatever they want to say. So
is that how you feel, man?
That's how I feel, bro.
Damn. So the Infinite says something really interesting about how he does not invest more than he has to basically when he has to lose. And I want to let you guys know that people get Barry Silver and even probably Cameron Winklevoss, people like, I didn't want to have to say this today, but Sam Bankman-Fried, these motherfuckers are investing more money than they have, which means that they're investing your money in shit that they are just like,
extremely speculative on.
It's just like, you like
give them the money. Maybe we'll make some. You kind of like,
if you give someone money, if you give somebody money, then they're going to use it for whatever the fuck they think that they should use it on. And you might not really agree, and they ain't gonna tell you that they're gonna spend your money on some shit that is gonna go up in smoke. So you really
Sam got jelly dripping out his pockets.
You really have to be okay with what you invested. Like you are risking. You're taking a risk here. This is a risk. It's all risk, and these people are risking. The amount of money that they risk is so much that even me, I'm just sitting here like, this is unreal. How do you have this much money to just fucking gamble? It's bullshit.
That's it. They don't.
A lot.
They're right. They don't.
And with that said, I got to take off to work. I just got called in, so.
All right. Thanks for joining us, DeFi.
You guys stay up.
Get the money. Thank you.
Yeah, he's gonna get to that money. All right, I feel like this is a good segue moment. Take the breathe in, breathe out. Nobody's name is no Sams were mentioned on today's show. Just cleanse ourselves. And go back into a topic that's somewhat Sam related. Okay, broke the rule. Solana. We were just talking about altcoins and DeFi a little bit of CeFi. I feel like Solana cannot be left out of this conversation.
Solana's cute, man. So Solana's cute. It's like out here trying to swim. You know, it like got dropped off a cliff, and now it's just trying to survive. You know, and
so by cute you mean it's got a little limp, but it still smiles at you, and you're like, oh.
It's cute. It's cute. It's cute to where you're like, man, I don't expect you to survive, but you're trying very hard. So I'm like, I'm kind of rooting for you now, and I hope you do survive. But I have this life raft over here. I'm not gonna throw it to you, but if you survive, then
you're on Titanic.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
You don't die from hypothermia when I wake up. We can talk about me introducing you to my parents.
Till then.
Like, yeah, and that was the end of Titanic.
Solana is like the little engine that could. It's like, it's trying to get up that hill, but once it gets over that hill, there's another hill that it has to get up again.
So your feelings on it? All right. Before I let you throw out any more Solana analogies, I have to ask the Infinite. Are you aware of what Solana is, and if so, do you have any opinions on Solana? We might have to give a little bit more of a background here. If we do,
I think I think you do. Yeah, in this situation, yeah. I mean, I've seen it before, but it's been so long. Yeah. Okay.
So Solana. So do you know what Tron is, right?
Yes.
Solana is like a more popular Tron that people use a lot, basically. So
with less TVL.
Yeah, with less like actual substance. With so I mean, it's really easy to use. There are NFTs on Solana, so it's kind of like Ethereum. There are tokens on Solana, but it's more accepted. So yeah, Solana was definitely more accepted than Tron. So imagine if you're at a party and fucking Tron walks in and it's got like these fucking Jordans on and this fucking like expensive jacket, and you're like, you're trying to be cool, and the Solana walks in with the same fucking outfit, and you're like, oh, fucking Solana, we fuck with Solana. It's like that's what it is. It's just like a way cooler, more accepted Tron.
Yeah. So
but also it's worse than Tron. It's not
but also let's add
it's not really that cool. It's not Tron did it first. Tron did it first.
Satoshi's version of that was all wrapped up in different metaphors, analogies. I'm going to try to break it down a little bit simpler for anybody who's never heard of Solana before, in case that wasn't quite sticking, because I feel like there you have a feeling for Tron. Now you've been influenced. Tron walks into the party and you maybe don't like them from what Satoshi just told you. But I just want to give you like the stats on Tron. Like Tron is like 6 foot tall, like 180. Like this is Tron. Okay.
He's on the football team.
This is Solana. Yeah.
Just maybe
on
not
the football team.
Just maybe not first string. Probably second string.
I'm just gonna let you know, like, yeah.
His jersey's
at
dirty.
table,
You know.
This is who Solana actually is. I'm gonna let you know who, you know. I feel like there's like a Jay-Z lyric that's perfect for this. It's like never met him. Whatever. So here is like first I'm gonna use this little chart here, or this DeFi llama again. Go figure, to show the general crypto DeFi market. So we have Ethereum here taking up 59%, I believe, of all of DeFi, with $23 billion locked in there on Ethereum. Then we have Binance Smart Chain, which is smaller, and then Tron. Look at that. The kid he's talking about doesn't like, some people just hate. Some people hate on greatness. Some people hate on greatness. I can't help it that we can afford these shoes. Anyways, further down this list is Solana. And so Solana is actually making their way up a little bit. Previously, they were somewhere in this like top 4 range during the bull market. They did work their way up the list. And so general take, Solana is a blockchain. It is I believe a layer 1 blockchain. So it's not a layer 2. It's not a scaling solution to Ethereum. It's just meant to be its own more efficient, so dollar friendly, and that means blockchain. Solana gets a bad rep from the general crypto community. So Ethereum maxis, Bitcoin maxis, whatever have you, because it is less or more centralized than these other blockchains. So when you think about things like Binance Smart Chain, we know it's more centralized, but people accept it. Tron is actually run by a DAO now, though people are still like, Justin Sun probably owns way too much of that, so they're like more centralized. Things like Arbitrum use Ethereum, so much more, it's a decentralized layer 2 solution to Ethereum. Ethereum decentralized, which is why it's at the top of the list. Phantom decentralized, but created by Andre Cronje. But there's Avalanche decentralized, but there's more of these that are decentralized. And then there's some that are more centralized, like the Binance Smart Chains, the Trons, Polygon, whatever. Solana is one of these ones that's centralized to an extent that people really did not like. You were talking about this whole fraud situation with Logan Paul, or whatever the heck, which is in DeFi. Again, it's regulated differently, but would be considered something like a pre-mine. And so you have a certain amount of tokens ahead of time, and maybe those tokens are released to the initial investors or the seed round investors or pre-investors, whatever the situation was, for that person to get in there early, because there's different situations where it's not just offered to one person, but it's maybe offered to a whole body of people in a whitelisted situation. And so Solana had that type of situation happening with VCs, venture capitalists, and a lot of Solana is bought up by these venture capitalists and whatnot. One of these heavy venture capitalist investors in Solana was Alameda and FTX. So they were heavily bought into Solana, as well as a bunch of other people. And so for this, this helps Solana and this hurts Solana. This helps Solana in the way that with all these other VCs, so not just FTX, but like tons of other VCs and stuff like that invested in Solana early on. And so Solana, once it launched and hit the market, it went up in value. So the token was going up in value. Inflows of money were coming in for DeFi and stuff like that on Solana. However, it is more centralized, and the blockchain was consistently, I'm sure Solana people would love to argue that, but compared to any other blockchain, it is consistently failing. It is consistently turning off and being off for hours, a day at a time. These other blockchains don't do that. Tron, I don't know when the hell Tron's ever turned off. I've never seen Tron turn off. Binance Smart Chain for maybe like 2 hours. Ethereum, never seen it. Polygon, never seen it. Avalanche, never seen it. Optimism, never seen it. Phantom, never seen it. Chronos for the love of God, never seen it.
All the time, and people just still use it like, oh, we love Solana, it's so great. No, bro, it goes down all the time. Yeah. I don't know. I might feel some type of way about Solana if you can't tell. But
yeah, so that's what's putting the black eye in Solana. So at this point, Solana's blockchain, it goes down quite often, whatever. It had this rise to fame during the bull market. That was partially due to FTX pumping a whole bunch of money into it and stuff like that. And since then, we also had this a podcast a few months ago or a month ago or so, where I said, like, after the FTX thing happened, I was like, okay, so all this money's going to drain out of it. All this money drained out of it. And then what's going to happen? People are going to realize that all this money drained out of Solana. There's going to be somewhat of a bull run on Solana because people can jump back into Solana on these DeFi positions, which previously were oversaturated with millions of dollars that were false money or needed to be paid back to somebody else because it wasn't really theirs to be putting in there. And so now all these positions became open on Solana. New money has started to flow into Solana, but at the same time, it's not the smartest new money in the room. It's the money that's like invested in, like, you know, like super heavily invested in NFTs or whatever the heck, doesn't necessarily get DeFi totally, or it's straight up VC backers that can now get in at a much lower price and they want to see their product go back up. Those are the people that are still currently invested in Solana. So like either you invested before, maybe there's a few games that you actually like on Solana, maybe. But there's not really a bunch like that out there on Solana. So that's my opinion on it. Hopefully that is
okay. I got one. You know, I put it all together. It depends. Depends on the VC. You know, old money sitting around can do a lot, man. It can do a lot of heavy lifting. So it just depends on how dedicated I feel like those VCs are. You know, because there's plenty of broken things that we continue to deal with, and a lot of the times perception beats common sense. A lot of times influence just beats the truth a lot, especially in our day and age. So it's like, will it go away? You know, even if you guys don't like it, you know, maybe, you know.
I didn't say, well, hold up now. Satoshi said he doesn't like it.
Look,
I didn't quite give my full opinion on Solana.
Well, I heard it was centralized.
It
and
is
I was
centralized,
like,
but
that's enough for us to be like, you know what?
Okay. And so this is my
I
take on that.
choose something else.
I got to explain my take on that then really quickly, because I had to explain this to like one of my coworkers at I work for a DeFi company. And so he was like, "Yeah, what's your opinion on Solana?" I'm like, "This gave him this opinion too. This is my general take on Solana. Oftentimes I have takes on crypto that people don't like, but you know what? They often end up being true and coming true. Like me saying the money was going to drain out of Solana and then there's going to be a bull run in Solana. Guess what happened? All right, so my general opinion, yes, it's centralized, but I like Binance Smart Chain and it's centralized. There's certain centralized projects that you can like if you understand them and they're transparent enough. And so Solana is centralized. I don't typically use Solana. However, I also don't use PlayStation 5. I don't use PlayStation 5. So, and that's, I'm going to pull it together. This is where I see Solana in the future. I see Solana as a PlayStation 5, as an iPhone company. I don't use iPhones either. I see Solana as an iPhone. I see Solana as a product that is centralized, that knows that it's centralized. People use it knowing that it's centralized. People still use Xbox, the Xbox network, give them all this information. They use PlayStation, give them all this information, whatever the heck, except the ups and the downs, the network turning off, whatever day you on Twitter talking about, why won't this game open? Oh, everybody else experiences the same thing today. Okay, like, but it's centralized and you accept that. You accept that it's a centralized thing that you can buy and you can utilize, but it has these rules around it. And I think that's Solana. And it's fine for a centralized thing. I still use my Xbox. I still use all the other centralized things. Everything doesn't have to be decentralized. And if some people want to use this centralized version of a thing, just for the, quite honestly, it seems like just for the cheap NFT and gaming transactions or whatever, which you can get on other chains, and they just have to expand their knowledge in that case. But that's where I see it. And like it exists, like, you know, like, yeah, these different systems exist. Like, you know, it's not like every, like, you know, like, there's the PC master race people and there's people that buy councils.
I mean, like, what I heard was you're like, yeah, it's a blockchain that exists. I use it sometimes, but kind of only when I need to. see, it's like, yeah, but I don't use PlayStation.
It's like I could use it. I see the value in it. I don't really fuck with the other company. I don't fuck with iPhones either. I don't fuck with that company like that. But I see the value in it. I know other people use it. I know why they like to use it. But it's not for me. And it's not for me because of that level of centralization. So it's knowing, but I know those things about it. And
so it's the only reason I'm kind of chuckling a little bit is because it's like, you know, the conversation starts out, is it dead? Dun dun dun.
For real though. Is it dead though?
And then we go through this long diatribe of explaining it to me, right? And I go, okay, I see. You know, it'll survive if the VCs stick with it and they don't take all their money out the project. You know, that's probably my consensus, because, you know, as long as people have the money to exist and they're not afraid to spend the money and have the burn, hey, it's probably still going to be there. You know, esports is considered one of those things which me and you are heavily invested in. And it's like one of those things where it's like right now, you're just going to burn. That's just kind of the situation. And it doesn't mean that the system's going to go away and disappear and so on and so forth. But, what I hear is like, yeah, people do esports, but it's not me. And then that's what made me chuckle. It was just like, yeah, people do it, but not your boy. You like walk off. It's like, that's the only reason why it was funny. It's like,
I feel like I've used Solana a lot more than probably SmartFast. And it worked when it worked. It doesn't work when at all when it doesn't work. But I want to let people know that FTX bought. And when I say FTX, you know who I really mean. Bought Solana for 4 fucking cents. What's the price of Solana right now?
It's like $8 right now.
Yeah, that's like I don't know. I'm gonna exaggerate. That's like 1,000%. I don't know. Probably less.
Yeah,
but
it's insane. Yeah.
So short term, I'm just saying, watch out for that. Who knows how much Solana other people have that they could sell whenever they want to. The technology works it works. When it works, it doesn't work when it doesn't work. That's great. But these niggas bought Solana for 4 cents. 4.
But
bruh,
I would sell. I also have to clarify. I'm not when I say Solana too. I'm talking about the blockchain and it worked and my feelings on the blockchain works, which is why I keep saying like certain things and comparing it to a council. Not that I'm trying to compare the token to a council as a token. Yeah. But the blockchain itself is like a software running. So
when I was using Solana, it works well. Like I said, just as well as Tron. And I think that there is
Xbox. It works well, just as well PlayStation. See,
yeah, just as X. If you're playing Xbox or PlayStation, don't be mad. If you're playing them both, don't be mad. One or the other is fine. My point is that it works. A lot of things work. A lot of things don't work. My point is that the price could be a lot cheaper soon. The price could be a lot more soon. We don't know, but try it out. See if you like it. If you think that this is cool, I might need 10 Solana one day. You might spend $80 on 10 Solana right now, and later on, that 10 Solana might be 800. It might be $8 because they bought Solana for 4 cents, and you never know what the price is going to go back to. But it works. There's a lot of devs on Solana. There's a lot of people using Solana. Now there's airdrops on Solana. That's cool. You might be able to make some money on Solana. It could be fun.
I might.
What is all this backhanded? Y'all like both doing this like, yeah, it's cool, and then you just backhanded. I'm like, yo, man, like, where does this energy coming from? Like,
we're just being real about it.
You have to let people know that it's cool, but
it's all
right. There's
other
cool things out there.
You can use it, but check the back of his hand.
Yeah,
like,
but that's how you. That's how you really like. I mean,
you can use it, but take the back of his hand now. And I'm like,
look, it's like this. Yeah, it's like this. Like you talking to somebody, they're like, what type of games you like? I like strategy games. All right, so you got any strategy like computer games? No, but I got this checkers over here. Like, you mean chess? Like checkers, bro. And like you're like, bro, pull the chessboard out. Like, I don't play no checkers. And it's like we can get past checkers though, bro. Like we can add a little bit more to it. I don't know. It's chess and it's checkers. And yeah, you just gotta like it's like Satoshi's saying, you just gotta let people know, like, it's again, that's why I'm like, it's centralized. You gotta know what you're dealing with. If you know what you're dealing with, it is what it is. My take on Solana is it dead or not? It's on the brink of death. It's got a big community. And these people don't seem to want to let it die. Let them be. Let that boy go.
The problem here is that there are so many things in blockchain that are cool and that work great. Nobody gives a shit about those things. They only care about the things that are trash, like Solana.
Because so many people invested in it, and that's like, look, that's why I asked that question on Twitter. I was like Solana people, do you like what? Why are you so bullish on Solana? Is it just because you invested in Solana, or is there some real reason why Solana is like, better or
Special.
something. There's nothing. There's literally
Not
nothing. There's nothing.
I mean, you guys have beaten this horse. All right, I get it. All right,
All right,
you keep raising it, you shake it. I'm like, okay, yeah. Then the other hand comes up.
It's like I don't want to keep beating the shit out of you. But
so it's bruised. So Solana is alive, but it's
barely.
Barely. Here it comes again. I'm like, all right, Joe. Yeah.
Look, I might do a $0 to $10 on Solana. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something on Solana. That's the only way that I'm gonna get over there.
The loop keeps happening. Hey, I might use it. Hey, it might do something cool. It could have some cool tricks somewhere.
You know why I'm mad?
But
I'm mad as fuck because there was like a bonk airdrop. I don't know how the fuck to get it. I don't know if I got it or not. I don't fucking know
how these crazy Solana people.
You have the NFTs or not? No, I don't know. That's what makes me mad because it should be easy. So give me the information. Do I got the airdrop or not? No, they're like, we don't know. You might have gotten it. Probably not, but who knows? So I'm mad and I don't like it. And they should make it easier to find out.
You know what? Once I do this 0 to 10 on Solana, I'm gonna start knowing. I'm gonna become a Solana person.
Let me know because
it ain't money. Want to be a free money though. All right, next crypto topic: XRP. He be dipping out sometimes. I feel like it's like meant for him almost, and he dip out a little bit. So XRP has been a big news in crypto lately. Why is that? If I can grab an article for you guys really quick.
Prior digital assets. You said XRP is what?
XRP. Yeah.
Oh, XRP. Dude, so, and XRP is interesting because it's risky, and I just don't see the Fed letting XRP survive. But if it does, like somehow squeak through, like, I'm about to get in here a little bit, then I don't know. I don't know what could happen. What I do know is that XRP is like one of the first tokens I ever purchased, and it is basically half the price that I purchased it for when I bought it. I do know that they develop things slowly over there. I haven't been able to use anything on XRP. They're using things for people who have a lot of money and banks and shit, which is great, but I haven't seen anything on XRP that makes me like want to use it. What about y'all?
No, nothing that makes me want to use XRP. Oh, you know what? XRP is a little bit above where I initially bought it at, which was around like 26 cents or so.
You're doing better than me, bro.
I sold that. Well, I mean, I guess that's good too. I'm like, I sold that around $1, son.
Yeah.
But yeah, XRP. I wanted to make sure I have this up. Whoa, hold up, my screen just blacked out for me. I want to bring up XRP today because other than this guy's optimism, XRP is supposedly set to win this SEC case. There's a lot of bullish news coming out about XRP winning this case with the SEC, which has been going on for about 2 years now. For anybody who's on the outside of this thing or has never heard about this, XRP was having a golden time. They're one of the top cryptocurrencies. I think they still are one of the top cryptocurrencies. If I would just look at like a top 10 or whatever the heck chart or something, it was going up a lot in money as the bull market was starting in like 2020 and stuff. And then the SEC was like, "Yeah, we're here to protect customer funds. We want to sue XRP," and then XRP lost a whole bunch of money. So it didn't really protect anybody there by doing that. If they wanted to protect people, maybe they should have done it in a quieter way, because it was one of the more stable and just like kind of like increasing projects where it was like it just didn't do these crazy jumps that other things did and kind of went more so bullish. And then the SEC stepped in, and I mean, I forget the actual value that it lost within that time, but I believe it was like a few dollars. Or approaching. So like, and it's like 30 cents now. And it missed out on a lot of the bull run where other tokens were taking off, and XRP just never had the bull run the other tokens did, while maintaining a place as one of the top cryptocurrencies, in largely part due to this, because the SEC did these things and it got delisted from all these exchanges and whatnot. And they're going to end up losing the case that they started, but they stopped all this progress from this token and all these people that had investments in it. So interesting thing that happened there. So that's why I like to keep up on the news with that case. And other than that,
I got a
SEC.
quick question.
Go ahead.
When have we ever seen anybody ever win a case against the SEC? Crypto related.
I mean, I don't think. I feel like maybe there's like maybe one like smaller cases or something like that, but like nothing like big or people. Most of the time, it's just like losses. Like you just lose to the SEC. Like especially something.
Are you settle?
Yeah.
Usually settling or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like usually just the the ambiance or the attitude around the situation being over, even if you settle, like just the situation with the SEC being over is kind of bullish for
it's bullish for them.
That is, which is good. Like there's a lot of XRP people out there, and I feel for them. But
I mean, I had a bag. I had to sell. Like the SEC literally forced me to sell my bag of XRP. Like I at least had a bag of XRP and had held it for years until they did that crap. And then it was like other people were a lot more bullish on it than me, but I was like, it's gonna go down, folks. I'm not trying to ride it down the entire way. I'm gonna take a decent profit on it. But I wouldn't have sold it if they didn't do that. And then they're about to lose this case 2 years later. It's like that's ridiculous, man. Like they need to be sued. Quite honestly. You didn't help anybody. You lost the case.
I tried to fucking short XRP with leverage when the news about the SEC case came out.
Oh man!
And let's just say I got liquidated, even though I was right, and that it was not fun.
Yeah. Well, leverage will do that to you.
Yeah, it will. It did it to me. It did it.
Yeah. So I have the subtopic here is it's finally happening for XRP, and that's due. And then I typed in CBDC, and I'm looking for the country here. And that's because XRP is due to become a legal currency, and I forget which country. Did you catch that, Satoshi? Like as I look this up, if you can.
I did not, but I'm gonna guess it's like an African country or like an island country.
Let me see if I put this down here in the Trustless sources. Yeah, there's just like a lot of fun XRP news to be caught. Goes central bank to because this stuff from their website is not going to be enough. Like unless I don't know how to go around their website and stuff. Well, that's what we call the show, Trustless Degens, folks. You can trust us or you can. Is he telling the truth? Is he telling the truth? I don't know. This guy might be full of it. He might be full of it. No, I feel like it's a country with like a P. So it wasn't like something like huge country or whatever, but Real Monetary Authority of Bhutan for crypto. I don't even know if this is the right one though, but yeah, they're basically XRP. Like the whole time, XRP's whole thing was we're great for cross-border payments and this and that. And people were like, oh, CBDCs. There's people have been saying this for years. Like, oh, XRP is the man's money and this and that and blah 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 blah. And XRP's stay like they're like, yeah, that's what we are. Yep, you got it. And yeah, they're right on path to doing exactly what they said they were going to do. Palau. I don't know this country right here. This is the one that I remember seeing. Palau partners with Ripple on climate-friendly national digital currency and remain. So I was like, I feel like it's a P. I don't know that country.
I'm about to look it up.
Yeah, watch it be like somebody's last name that lives at a PO box. Is it Bilal?
Bruh.
Stop. Who made up this fake wiki page? Oh,
bro, someone made a fake ass country, bro. That's what happened. XRP made a fake country. What the fuck? Bro, it's not even on the map. Where the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Let's go to maps.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a straight up globe or something.
Like it's here. Oh wow,
they got a bank there. They got
no. That's the problem. That's the problem. These coconuts need something. I'm just kidding.
Come on, hey XRP, y'all can do better than that, y'all.
Man, you gotta start somewhere. They're starting here,
bruh. But it's all Caroline Islands. No, I'm out.
Caroline Islands. Oh my god. Yeah, somebody cut this man off.
Yeah, I'm out.
But yeah, this is one of them. XRP looking for small little places like this. Yeah, I'm sure that's just to get their foot in the door, get things going. The point is they are allowing these cross-border payments, and as Satoshi was, just joking, do they even have a bank there? I'm sure they have some type of banks and stuff, but if they're using okay, imagine this country right here, right? They have their own currency. This country that we just you want to back out and see this? They weren't at the World Cup. They didn't make just saying we ain't even backed out. You can't even see Guam, bro. Bro, the dot is covering the entire country. Stop. The tip of the dot is covering the entire country. So and my point here is not talk bad about Palau. Country looks beautiful from above, looks crazy islandy and stuff like that, and it's all connected with these roads. It looks crazy beautiful. However, I would imagine that such a small country doesn't have the strongest currency, especially when the United States dollar is doing what it's doing and wrecking all these other big world currencies and stuff like that. I'm sure Palau is just swimmingly fine out in the ocean. No, I'm sure they're getting wrecked. And I'm sure if they were even on something like Ripple, that's probably much better for them. Versus again, look at this place. Sorry, bro. Yeah. It's just, yeah. It's certain countries where that's probably actually really beneficial. It's not really a player. So yeah.
I feel like the Infinite's cat really wants to learn about Web3 and blockchain right now.
Smart kitty.
Cat's just bro, let me get those headphones. I got some shit to learn today.
Got some words to say.
You're gonna learn today. All right. Last things I want to cover in terms of token news and stuff like that before we get into our little hot thing of the day. And Satoshi, let me know if you need to cancel that or something like that. We can just go down but that is there's a few quick crypto news updates. Yeah, I actually have a little card thing for it, bro. I actually got a little card thing for it. Oops.
New Year's, new me update.
You see it? Quick crypto news updates. So we're gonna get into this first one. How do you so for some of these, I'm just gonna kind of ask you guys questions. We're gonna do a little quick roundabout thing of this. So this first article says, how do you onboard your friends and colleagues to crypto? So I found this article and I thought this was interesting just to run it by the panel here and ask you guys this questions. How would you onboard your friends or colleagues to crypto? And Satoshi, I'm going to ask you to pause. We're going to start with the infinite. We're going to start with our normie.
How would I? In general, man, this is. I feel like this is a take nobody's going to like. But you just come with an unbreakable thing that's easy to use, that everybody can get into without jumping through the learning hoops. So if there's something that you can just go, hey, here's the website. Oh, hey, they have the wallet ready for me. Oh, that's great. Oh, they know how to hold it. Oh, they have a couple explaining things here. Oh, I really have to just click this button, put this in, and then add the money there. And then yay, and there's no extra steps than that. I think you might run into things. And I know there's things like Coinbase, but it also needs to be usable in the real world, and everybody has to kind of accept it. And it's like a big bar, and saying it makes me feel silly, but in general, I think that's what's going to make people kind of use it, that it has some real practical use in everyday situations that most people can use.
Okay. So that's actually one of the things that they mention here in this article, which is make crypto relevant to them. And they give an example of just if somebody was in a supply chain, as their job, this is how blockchain and crypto can be used to help improve supply chain. And quite honestly, that's what it's being used for a lot in the private world. A bunch of companies and stuff like that are making their own blockchains and stuff like that to help improve on supply chain. So that is actually happening. So thank you, Normie, for your dual take on. Go ahead.
Let me add one thing.
Go deeper.
I do think that there are usable things, and as much as NFTs are hated, and I understand that in a lot of ways it was overvalued and so on and so forth, I think there is some utility in that, especially in kind of the gaming space that, Smurf is heavily invested in as far as what he observes and so on and so forth. Having a piecemeal game that you could piece together, and a lot of the times we compare it to things like Ready Player One, to where people will bring whatever assets they have from different games, and it skips all the legal kind of things that would prevent these kinds of things from existing.
We call it composability.
Would be great, you know, and in a lot of different ways. And there's like different things that you could build on it to allow some of these restrictions with copyright and so on and so forth to kind of just go away. Because it's not like everybody looks at this copyright law in general and go, you know what? This is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. And some of those things that we could actually piece things together without running into all the legal roadblocks. I think things like NFTs could probably do that. And I know it's a bad rap and nobody likes the word, and you know it's been used and abused in a lot of different ways. Realistically, if it was used for those kinds of purposes, I think it would be a really good thing. And then all of a sudden people would change their tune. Maybe not to the word NFT, but hey, things get rebranded all the time. It's okay.
So you're saying if NFTs get used as what exactly? Did you list a specific thing? I didn't hear that specific thing.
Just kind of like being able to own pieces of an asset of any kind, you know, in a digital form, in things like gaming. So being able to take like a Minecraft skin or Minecraft mechanic, you know, and kind of have some kind of rights to get over some of this copyright law. Because it's like the more I go into copyright law, the more I just dislike it. You know, like, and half the communities we deal with Money Match Gaming and dealing with, you know, esports companies and stuff, and them having the right to say, you're not allowed to have a competitive event with our game. And it's like, how is that possible? Why is that reasonable for any kind of company or entity to be able to do that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, thank you again, Normie. And as he was saying, I'm going to put this on screen. The word that we like to call in crypto, the word for that is composability. So what does composability mean? In application development, composability refers to the ability to combine existing components and reassemble them to create new products. And so this is the Infinite's idea of like what when you mentioned that Ready Player One, and you're taking this one game and you're inserting this item from this one game into another game. Cryptocurrency is known for that, and that's a lot of the reason for cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. That's why Ethereum became so popular, is it started to introduce this idea of composability between tokens, different applications, all the dApps that run on Ethereum that interact with each other. All these smart contracts are composable. They can interact with each other. And that's one of the biggest value props behind NFTs, actually, that a lot of people don't realize, is that NFTs allow you to make some of these other applications or cryptocurrencies or assets more composable. Because then you can take a real world asset. How do you move a real world asset on chain? Well, it's not really possible. You don't just like, burn the like, no, you can still be like making money off of an apartment building. You burn the apartment building down and move it on chain. You still make money off the apartment building, and you have to wrap it behind something. Well, where do you wrap it behind? How do you prove ownership of something and get that person access to it? An NFT. That's how you do it. It's the NFT. That's what it's created for. But a lot of people don't get that concept yet. That's the type of level of composability that NFTs are actually created for. Gamers get it somewhat much more, and they don't necessarily get that that's where it can go. But they get it just because, I get this skin or this item or whatever the heck, and I can use that, and that's an NFT, and that makes sense. And I can use that NFT with this character, or I can use that NFT with that character, or I can trade it to this character, and that's composability as well. But it can go further. And a lot of people just haven't gotten used to that. I was actually just on a Twitter Spaces this morning where we talked about the composability of NFTs in terms of financial NFTs. And so NFTs doing that exact thing that I was kind of just speaking to, which is NFTs that earn money in the real world or from other products or whatever have you, or other DeFi things like that. And they're being packaged as an NFT. And then that NFT can be used in different ways. It can be traded between people. It can be sold. It can be used as leverage or collateral, or put into some other project, or an in-game item still. It can be whatever the heck it wants to be. It just has way more utility than it pre. Like, imagine you have like bonds or whatever in the real world. So like, I got some bonds. I got a certificate of bond. Like, you can't really do much else with that. But in DeFi or on the blockchain, you can actually, that same certificate can actually represent an in-game item, can actually be your ticket to an event, can actually be, and it can be all these things at once. And that's just like way more utility than any of these items ever had, or these assets ever had before. And a lot of people are like struggling to like really grasp that, because Bored Apes does so great at marketing. But that is what it is. And Bored Ape is tackling a lot of these things too. They're not afraid to tackle some of this stuff. They're meeting their community where they are and doing things at their own pace and stuff. But they do some of these things. And the people that are haters just will never learn about that stuff, because they tune out when they hear something about it. But tis what tis. That's composability. And you hit two of the things on the head there, which was I wanted to mention composability because that's the start of it, which is they said start at the bottom, which is learning terminology. This is actually where I start the crypto zero to $100 in crypto. This is where I start the series, where I say the first thing that you need to learn or to do to go from $0 to $10 and then $100 in crypto is you need to learn, and you need to be okay with learning. You need to do your own research. That's the first thing. Like before anything else, you need to do your own research, because if you don't do that, if you're not willing to read about Coinbase, if you're not willing to read about all the other things that I'm going to talk about or teach you about, then you're not going to go anywhere. Like you're not going to make any fucking money. Like period. In crypto in general, you're not going to learn about it in airdrop. You're not going to make any money in airdrops. Like period. You're not just going to get free money without learning anything. Like so, you learn first, and to understand things when you're learning them, you need to know the terminologies. And so I listed a bunch of like basic terminologies. What's a blockchain? What's a ledger? What's Bitcoin? These things like that, because you need to understand what those are before you can use some of this other stuff. And then after that, as the infinite saying, make it relevant to them. So how would this help you in a sector? Like, what are some things you're interested in? Maybe you're interested in games. Maybe you're interested in more of the fintech area, so financials. Maybe you're interested in more community things. Maybe you're interested in whatever it is. Find that thing and get that utility in there, and then get some skin in the game. And Lovely, the Coinbase thing kind of gives us free money. And then I found another way to get free money, which is like other than the gaming, is the Zen token, and they start to earn some money, and you really have skin in the game. I guarantee you, if somebody starts to do the challenge that I'm doing and they start earning Zen token and they realize they can just mint money out of thin air every month, you're not going to do any extra research about Zen token. Like, I mean, I can imagine me finding that when I was like the farther I go back in my life, I'm like, there was a time where I was like super young and like still interested in money and stuff like that. And I'm like searching for quarters in the couch. Like I'm making money off of finding quarters in the couch. Like, yes, no, it's mine. That's mine. Like, and then your dad be like, nah, that's my money.
What you mean? You know where the quarters came from? My pocket, son.
Freaking
couch.
It came from the couch. What you talking about, old man?
The couch made these nickels.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just getting skin in the game. And so that, yeah, we kind of actually covered all three things that they're talking about there. I want to give Satoshi a chance there. Like, yeah, if you were to onboard friends, colleagues to crypto, how would you do so?
First of all, I would target the people who I think are more independently minded than others, people who will do their own research, people who aren't going to accept other people's opinions on things. Target those people, show those people how not to get scammed in cryptocurrency, show them hardware wallets, show them how to take ownership of what they purchase with their value. Then kind of focus on showing people how to find money that is free, find airdrops. Like the article says, show people airdrops, show people how to get free money. Show people what works, let them know what doesn't work. Be 100% honest about what's going on in the market, honest about your thoughts, honest about why you're here. Make sure that they know why they are putting their money into blockchain. You want to be 100% upfront. Let's see. Stop asking your fucking granny to buy crypto. Stop asking old Uncle Frank or whoever the fuck you're sitting around with at Thanksgiving to buy crypto. Like, you're not helping them out at all. Teach them about why they might want to buy crypto. Stop telling them to buy fucking Doge and SHIB and shit. Like, just like be honest about it. Be real. Let them know that this is risky. Some people are fine with risky shit. Some people are absolutely not. And that's fine. Some people are going to make it. Some people aren't. That's fine. But be honest and don't trick anybody or like sell people rainbows and shit. Like, let them know that this shit's risky and kind of go from there. Some people enjoy the hunt and the risk and the deep dive and the adventure. And I feel like those are the people who are going to build and people who are going to be here even when things aren't great, if you're honest about it.
I feel like I should rephrase a little bit of that in the sense to where it's like, look, some people are built to be risky. Some people are built to go out and get it. Allow those people to get out and give it and giving them the tools. Everybody else, they'll be along for the ride, but not at the start. And then the second thing about the airdrops and stuff, because just from a normie take, they might hear that, oh, somebody's giving away free money. And it's like, in the real world, quote unquote, real world, in real life, you can find grants, you can find scholarships, you can find all these different things that can help your life out, and, in a lot of ways, it's kind of the same concept to where it's like, hey, if you want to win in life and you want to increase how much money you have towards the different projects that matter to you, it's one of those things to where you really should try to take advantage of everything that the government has to offer, that your community has to offer in all these different types of ways. So, hey, that's just something to keep in mind, in a different way to say what Satoshi just said,
See,
take advantage of the opportunities that's there.
Facts on facts on facts. Thank you guys for those insightful opinions on how you would introduce somebody to crypto. And again, just quick moment to shill that 0 to 100 or 0 to $10 thing. I'm sharing a lot of that content on our TikTok initially, also on blog content on our Hive, so Money Match Gaming on Hive blockchain, or Leo Finance, and then also I'll be putting those shorts up on our YouTube. And so I feel like they're getting. If you're interested in crypto, you don't want to spend money in crypto, but you want to maybe learn about some of these things. I do have people ask me that stuff all the time. Like, I just want to learn something. I'm like, actually do the stuff that I'm like, you see me talking about it all the time, bro. Like, just do it. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. Otherwise, they're going to be the same people are going to be coming back to me. It's going to be like 6 months from now. They're going to be like, how's that stuff going? Like, yeah, I turned it into a few $1,000s again. Like, when are you going to start? Like, I don't know what you want. And they're going to be like, well, how many thousands should I put in to keep up with you? And I'm like, I didn't put any money in. I don't know, bro, because I don't put the money in. Like, I don't know. Like,
it's free.
I just get free money.
Be grinding.
Yeah, and then you find ways to continue making money with that free money. Like, it's hard to have that conversation with people. I'm like, bro, it was free. I don't know what to tell you. Like, actually do this stuff and learn, and you're gonna be great. But don't. And you're asking me how much money I should put in. Another quick news: Bitcoin buckles, bounces as Fed signals more aggressive rate hikes to come. We kind of touched on this briefly, but I want to talk about the market in general here. So the biggest cryptocurrency was down nearly 1%. Ooh, that's so big for Bitcoin. Not really. Trading for $16,790. Bitcoin's been struggling to get above 17,000, which is the real news for anybody in crypto world. They're like, dang, it's really not getting above 17,000. But if it does, that's going to signal the bulls, baby. The bulls will really be back, and you can expect a bounce up to at least another $1,000. Like, I think 18,000 is easy at that point. People are really probably looking more at the $20,000 range if it does that. Again, that's more speculative, but that's what. It has since made modest gains, and the asset is still up 1.2 in the past 24 hours. And this is where I came in the day. I was like, oh. Like, it was like midday or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, it done dipped. Crypto's done dipped. I think I will enter an order. I think I'll go long. I think I'm bullish." And sure enough, the market took off in the opposite direction and gained that. So if it went down 1%, it went back up 1.2%. So it was a nice day. It was a nice day if you were actually not afraid to jump back in the market when that happened. But yeah. I wanted to pull this up also because, yes, the Fed said that, rate hikes will continue to be aggressive, aka stagflation is going to continue to be. So there's going to be a high inflation continuing. But for some of these assets, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, Bitcoin is coming up on another halvening soon. So what's that? That means it becomes that much harder to mine Bitcoin. Every time, you can look at this historically, every time there's a halvening for Bitcoin, the price goes up astronomically, without fail. It just consistently happens, and that's because the supply shrinks, and there's still demand for the asset. And so, like, general supply and demand, it's really hard to beat because it's just straight up math at that point. Token price go up, like, it just go up, and so that next leg up is going to be happening in 2024, not 2023. However, the year before a halvening is when you generally see the bottom of that token and things start to turn around. And so this would have been like 2019 prior. If you were in the summer of 2019 picking up crypto, you saw nothing but an upward rise for the next 2 years. Like, nothing but straight ups. Like, yeah, little sideways, but up. And so that's what it's starting to look like right now. Speculation would not. But with the next happening coming up, I think it's something to pay attention to. And this is also why I'm like, yo, the bulls are back because of things like this.
I'm definitely about to make $1 million in the next bull run. That's all I know.
I feel it. It's been a long climb up, but I do think I could position myself well enough to actually to do something similar. Honestly.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
you
like
for sure gonna make $1 million.
because
You
like
gonna
the
make more
type of
than me.
gains that you get, like I mean, I've been interning these bull runs and stuff like that with like I think last one I had like $2,000. And it was like money, I'm like actually saving money and putting it in and stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, I got to like $2,000. And it just like was like, yeah, and I've been spending money from it and stuff, but I still have like more than $2,000. And I'm like paying rent and shit like that. And so I'm like, yeah, next bull run where I actually have the money that people be talking to me about, like on TikTok and shit. Like, oh, what if I had $2,000? What if I had $1,000 to invest in a project? I'm like, I never had that to invest in a project. The fact that I can actually invest $1,000 in a token that I believe in, and then watch that boy go up 10x, 20x, bam. It's like it's gonna be hard not to make $20,000. Is like the thing. Like that's what it is. I'm like, the thing is, it's gonna be hard not to make 20K, and so that's kind of crazy.
The other thing I try to explain to a lot of the people I am on board is that the opportunities that you're going to see are going to be completely different than the ones that I'm seeing, and sometimes what I tell a lot of people is that I've made a couple X's, but other people can make a lot more than me. Like I'm not super genius or I didn't get like A pluses in math or nothing like that, but if
like
I
somebody
can
out there is
make,
always getting better gains, and it's like, damn.
yeah, it's just like, dude, I want to see what my friends and my buddies, how much money some other people can make, because we all need to get a piece of this pie, like
For reals. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting times. Yeah, I can't wait for all my DeFi friends, for my friends that just got into the bull run like last time, stuff like that. Just got into crypto, but they still have like a few $100 hanging around and stuff like that. They had zero last time. That's gonna be exciting because that's gonna turn into thousands. Like it's just like the come ups, the cycles of the come ups is gonna be like super exciting. So yeah, I'm for it. Really excited for it. Next up on this list of quick crypto news, Sol flipped SHIB in market cap. So this is, of course, coming off of other news like SHIB flips Sol in TVL or whatever the heck. I don't know if it was market cap before, but SHIB and Sol have been going back and forth. And of course, I had to mention Solana at least one more time during today's stream. But this is just to say that, yeah, Solana is somewhat bullish again due to that community. I think it's the community effort. Also, those VCs the community doesn't even understand because they're all NFT people. Oh, man, you guys need to learn some DeFi. Learn actual crypto. Because DeFi is actually just crypto. It's like actual crypto. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. They're going to combine and everybody's going to learn. GameFi is going to help it happen. I actually got it was a disagreement that I had with this here. Let me see if I can find it. Just in our like things. Because like I wasn't on Twitter a lot recently. But I disagreed with the founder of Forge Arena. And he had to re-agree himself with me, or with himself. He had to re-agree with himself, and I was like, "Yeah, I still don't agree with that, bro." But here we go. Yeah, so he said Web3 creators are as good as the content they create. That sounds fine. The content they can create is only as good as the games/products that they can cover. And so this is my thing. I wanted to remove it from games, because I feel like it became very so they cannot educate this space. And his basic thing was like, yeah, if the products aren't good, then the content creators can't educate the space. I already disagree with that part of it. I'm like,
yeah, there's good stuff out there.
I'm like, it's not that it's not good stuff. It's just like people, like, even when there's not good stuff, people have better ideas than the shit that's out there. That's how newer and better things come about. That's the whole purpose of proposals and blockchain and shit like that, is that oftentimes these projects don't have the best thing laid out, and they need to listen to the community, which has been building things all the entire time, to improve. They need that feedback. So I get what he's saying, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but without that feedback, without the open sourceness of blockchain and everybody building together, it's not going to happen. So yeah, yes and no. It is our role as game developers to give them the info they require to educate the space properly. So I'm like, yeah, like, look, a good game can definitely help, is my take. And actually, let me go out to it. Got to strongly disagree with this take. Game devs can help, which is what I say. But content creators aren't tied to just Web3 games or just DeFi or just crypto or just buying or trading on Coinbase or just buying and trading on Binance Smart Chain. They can do whatever. Content creators can cover whatever the hell they want is the thing. Like they're not tied to any one thing. And it's just like, honestly, it's the level of research they do. When there was a white paper, people were speculating about different things on Bitcoin or on Ethereum. And guess what? Nothing was developed yet, but people were still making content about it. And so I hear what he's saying, but content, no, you don't actually need the product out to be able to design a product, to be able to design a product. That's how you do it to begin with. Somebody goes, here's an idea, and we build off of that idea. And then somebody else comes up with a product. You don't have to be the developer yourself to have input on that and to make things better, is my point. And again, he disagreed with that. But I'm like, you know what? You in the weeds a little bit, in my opinion. In my opinion, he's in the weeds, and I see where he's coming from. Again, it's like, yeah, you have the ability to influence people as a developer because they're going to take those ideas and they're going to affect them. But that's not everybody. That's kind of putting crypto into a smaller bucket of it's a majority, but not to the actual innovators and stuff like that in crypto, people that like dive deeper, which are the people that are in the market right now. So more opinion on that. You just have to do that sidetrack. You know what I'm saying? Get that in there. Any opinions? You guys go ahead
on that.
Yeah.
On that simple thing, I think, I was talking to Satoshi at the beginning while we were prepping for the show and stuff, and I kind of mentioned like, I think there's a saying with the Buddha to where he says like, a raindrop falls on a leaf, and he asks the guy next to him, like what had to go into that raindrop landing on that leaf and kind of doing that and how it's all connected. And this seems like one of those things to where it's like kind of all connected and you can start at any point and still end up at the same place. And so it's like kind of circular in a way to where you're like, look, there's lots of this ecosystem that can add to that act happening. And saying that this is the Big Bang, this is the start, this is the origin is a little silly when we all know it's kind of all at the same time. And, being able to see that nuance is important just to understand that, like, you don't pigeonhole yourself to where, no, it's only about the games. It's like, no, it's everything. Marketing goes a lot of ways, and marketing does a lot of things to where a lot of things that are really, really bad sell out and stuff. And there's like plenty of things and products and companies that aren't the best of the best. And, they still win. So it's a mix of all these different things that actually makes these things happen the way they happen. It's not one singular isolated beginning origin point, and I think that's what you're arguing. And it's like, I would agree.
That was like I had a longer version of this where I was like, I've seen like a lot of games that have like shitty this and that. Like, I actually don't say like most Web3 games don't even have what I consider proper or best practices. Yeah, like a little bit here. I like shorten this. But yeah, most of them that I see don't have proper or best practices in crypto and Web3 or whatever. Most of the games that people like playing, like they just don't. And like I say, like you're talking about like Fortnite, Web2, they have a lot of things going that like Web3 could adapt, but at the same time, I would like to see them use some Web3 things or whatever the heck. It'd be a much better experience, but whatever. I know that's going to take time. But in general, this idea is just like every project, kind of like what you're saying, like every project that's popular isn't necessarily using the best practices or the best things available. I see like people like Bryson in the Web3 space, NFT gaming space, talking about like, oh, Web3 games are trash or this or that. And I'm like, fam, the fact that you use shitty games does not mean they're shitty. Like, stop playing shitty games. You promote a lot of shitty games, Bryson. You don't be having fun. You be like acting like you having fun playing these games and stuff like that sometimes. And I'm like, I get it. Like, you have an influence. People are going to buy them then. You need something else to play because you didn't like playing that. But like, that's your own fault. Like, like there are some other games that have better tokenomics, better economic structures. And if we would like actually invest in those, even like, like it would be better off for people. Like teach people the actual economics and stuff like that going on behind the scenes of Splinterlands. I don't think he's ever done that. I don't think he's ever talked about like, this is like the staking and blah, 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 and Splinterlands. And this is what staking is. This is how you do liquidity pairs and blah, 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 blah. He's never done that. Meanwhile, he talks about, oh, games don't have good tokenomics and like, oh, it's all Ponzi and rug and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it seems like you don't know what you're actually looking for or you'd be talking about it more. But to this guy's point, this Minclove of Forgery, and I like Forgery enough again. And I like Bryson, so I'm like coming on. Like it's not like I don't like any of these people, but if it was just leaving up to game developers and stuff like that, then Bryson, like that's why he's not educated, because he's only looking at these game developers for it. So he doesn't know any better. And I'm like, but you can look. You don't have to just rely on games. You can look elsewhere. You can look at the white paper. You can look at other projects in the crypto space. You can look at just DeFi in general. You can look at just cryptocurrencies that aren't part of DeFi necessarily. You can look at different blockchains and stuff like that. You can learn all sorts of different things that can be utilized in a game to make the game better. You don't have to wait for whatever game that already exists on the market to implement that, and then you learn from that. You can go out there and learn other ways. So that was my thing. But
I feel like he was kind of saying that like game devs need to hold creators' hands basically, and like give them the information to give to other people.
Yeah.
Personally, I disagree right now that games are leading adoption. I don't believe that that's what's happening right now. I feel like in the future, maybe. Like I feel like I've tried to hedge a lot of my thesis on the fact that I feel like gaming will be one of the leading adoption things. But right now, I feel like it's more NFTs and smart contracts and yield and stuff.
Sappy seals, dog.
Stop it, dude.
Look, I got no problem with sappies.
I feel like right now, like if it's just like any token that comes out before a project, gaming, DeFi, NFTs, any token that comes out before a solid platform that's usable, a game, a trading platform, yield platform. Those things are extremely risky, and those things are extremely I don't know what the word is for it. Feeble. What's the word for it? They're kind of they're like on a thin line. Like it's like certain games games are like Axes. Let's throw Axes out there. Everyone knows Axes. I think now recently, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to a lot of the developments, but let's say Axes a year ago was not the most fun game. They had a lot of money on there floating around, but it's people trying to make money off the game, not people playing the game for fun. And you learned a lot of that information from reading white papers, looking at other people's YouTube videos, learning what strategies work for them. I don't feel like the devs necessarily were holding people's hands and giving them information to give to other people. People were incentivized to learn about Axis because they wanted to make money off of it. And that's the incentive of a lot of Web3 games is not to play the game because it's fun. It's to play the game because you can potentially make money off of it, which is why I have been trying to get us to kind of look at big time a little more, because they have a game out there and it's working. People can play it. It's not a PvP type thing, but you're playing against, you're battling against other NPCs and bots and shit. But they have a token that's going to come out, and they have an airdrop that's going to come out. But they built their game before they gave people the token to buy or to however the fuck. There's you'll be able to. Oh well, we've been able to play the game for months. You could have got NFTs off of that just by playing it. You could have sold those NFTs on the marketplace. There's going to be a airdrop for time tokens based off of the NFTs that you got from playing the beta. And then just I give that example because there's two ways that that tokens are brought to the market. It's either you bring a token to raise money for what you want to build, or you build what you want to build, and then you drop a token to reward the people who have used what you've built. And I think that you've got to kind of know, as a content creator and as somebody, you've got to know your community, and you got to know the type of information that you want to give to them. Do you want your community to be the people that are buying tokens before the product comes out, or do you want people to try the product before they get the tokens? It's just like how much you want to protect your community, how much do you want to educate your community on what's going on. I feel like a lot of our content creators are more in it for the content and not in it for educating people on how to build a macro thesis on how we're investing and playing these games. It's just like, they want to look at, Axis, and they want to look at, what's that one game, Fate and Arena. Then the next day they want to look at Alien World. It's like, it always has to be something new instead of, maybe making less content. Maybe making less content less frequently, and continuing with, the same game. Hey, this is what happened in Axis this week. It might not be great, but this is what happened. But instead, these content creators are just jumping to the next game to try to get more views and more subs and shit. It's just like, I don't know. I don't think they're serving us or the community necessarily. They're kind of serving their own.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree that content creators are kind of serving their own. And it's going to depend on the content creator, because myself, I'm a type of content creator, and I look for other content creators that are going to give me a bit more information than just this is this or that. And that's why I disagreed with this guy's initial post and like that the game devs are giving, because the type of content creators, if like you were starting to mention at the end, were like, yeah, they're just like serving their own thing and just covering game to game. Those are the type of people that he's more so talking about. I feel like that's who you're talking about.
I agree. I feel like that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, but then I had to disagree because I'm like, there's more than just that one audience out here. Like, that's not all there is. Like, other people like myself and other folks, like, we're going to take what we learned and other things in crypto and DeFi and this and that, and we want to see it, like, when you're talking about a Web3 game, then I want to see that applied to the game and make it better. And like, I don't see a lot of games that actually do that. Yeah, exactly. Like, these games are failing on their tokenomics. I'm like, I haven't even seen a game actually use what are the best tokenomic structures. Any of the top 10 best tokenomic structures just existed in DeFi or in crypto. And so none of these games are using them. So like I'm not surprised when they keep being like, oh, our system failed. I'm like, you could just make Bitcoin again for your game. Dang it. Like, just max supply. You got to mine out the tokens, whatever. They just make Bitcoin. Basically, you don't have to do anything else, and the token would be better than this crap that they make for their tokenomic models and stuff like that. And they're like, why isn't it working? And it's like, fam, we already know it works. We know it works to a degree. You don't have to get that crazy. Like, if you can't figure it out, then you're not paying attention to anything else in crypto. You haven't actually done your own research. So like, struggle as much as they want. He can have his own opinions and stuff. I'm like, fam, it's not that difficult. It's really not. Yes, no, make your token like Bitcoin, make a fun game, and I guarantee you, over time, that token is going to do fine. Mm-hmm. It's happened too many times before to like Jeebus.
I feel like there's a place for when content creators are like jumping from project to project, like in the span of a when the bull run starts and when the bull run ends. I feel like it's good to jump around project to project because there's a lot of projects that they're jumping out. There's a lot of money to be made in new projects, but during the bear market when projects are constantly dying and we're seeing that things are failing, we're seeing things get exploited, like what happened with Gala a couple of months ago, where the people who did their audit were like, yeah, we're gonna do this weird thing now with your guys' token, or I'm probably explaining it a little bit wrong, but it's like you can't trust people for too long. It's just like you got to kind of look and see. Like, what I like about what you guys do with like what is it, that game, Guardians Unchained?
Oh, Gods Unchained.
Gods Unchained. It's like you guys found something that works, and you guys kept up with it, and you guys are consistent. You play it, here and there, once or twice a week on stream, and instead of jumping from game to game, these new games pop up and they don't work, and they've taken all this money from people, but they're not making an actual game. They're making these little weird games where it's not like a AAA. These aren't AAA game companies that are making these games. These are, people who want to make a game, but have they ever made a game before? Maybe not.
Exactly.
I thought it was interesting that this is totally something kind of off, Yeah, I'm gonna show big time again that they're
It's okay. I feel like
accepting
big time is a good
they're
example right now.
they're gonna accept mana tokens. So not only do they don't have their own token yet, they're accepting tokens from a whole nother separate project that has some kind of some cloud.
Compossibility.
They are a really compossibility, like you said. They're another metaverse P2E company, and they're going to accept their token for payments for NFTs, which is like one of the biggest use cases of crypto, gaming NFTs. You know, so I feel like people need to kind of hunker down and focus on not so much the crypto aspect, the making money aspect of gaming, and find games that are fun to play, that are actually there, and then eventually those projects want to reward their players for being there with them. Not someone who wants to, oh yeah, we're going to raise a bunch of money and we're going to use 10% of that money to make a game for you fucking assholes who gave us all the money to fucking make this fucking game.
And like I can think of like 3 what I would consider blue chip projects that have done this in the past. So 3 blue chip gaming projects that have started, whether in like one of these kind of started and it's maybe the worst one, but it's still got a cool ecosystem. So here are the 3 ones. So Gods Unchained started in a similar light. The game out first, God's token came like 2 years after the game. The game's now in like year 3, quite honestly, of a blockchain game. It's like in year 3. They have a token now. They also did an airdrop of the IMX token. So if you bought any of their cards, you got the IMX token. At the time of the airdrop, most people made a few $1,000s off of this airdrop. All you had to have done is spend like whatever amount of money on God's cards, or like the actual NFTs. You could have spent 30 cents and made $1,000. Like wild.
That's a hell of a come up. That's like a lot of X's. That's hella X's.
It's a lot of X's. On top of that, they also did airdrops of different cards. So you get different cards all throughout the time like that, and you still get different cards. These cards can be sold on the blockchain. Like if you get a really rare card, maybe it's a few $1,000s, but like let's say the lower end, the more realistic end, the vast majority of your cards in Gods Unchained cost at least 1 cent, 2 cent. You get in like a pack of like 30 cards or even 5 cards. They're just giving you more money, and they've done this multiple times. So they're just constantly rewarding you for playing the game. Another game situation like this, Axie Infinity. Axie came out. You get the Axies first. Later on came the AXS token, which was their governance token, stuff like that. Who got the governance token? People that had enough Axies and stuff ahead of time. Like, so it's another situation where you're getting rewarded from being earlier to the game. And then you can stake the AXS tokens, and then you can earn like more things on the Ronin blockchain. But again, it's people being early to this game system. And then the game's first. And then the other system that I'll mention is, what's that called? I just had it up, DeFi Kingdoms. So DeFi Kingdoms.
I thought you were going to say DeFi Kingdoms.
Yeah, DeFi Kingdoms is a little bit of a reverse situation and that's where I was like, this one maybe, depending on how you see it, like hasn't fared as well, because these other ones, you're starting from like nothing basically, right? And so you can have like you were saying, a ton of access. You can have almost an infinite return. These are the ones where you just like invest a little bit of money, and all of a sudden, whatever they have coming out in the token world is like insane. You just make a bunch of money. And DeFi Kingdoms, they started with the economy first, and so they wanted to have their own token. Have their own systems and stuff like that. So every blockchain that they go on is a different realm, and these realms need liquidity. And so, but they're thinking of it from a DeFi perspective. So it's a much more DeFi oriented audience. But if you're going to have an actual, and I have no problem with their take on it. I actually like their take on it. They're going about things a different way. Because if you're going to have an actual economy where people actually trade goods and services or whatever the heck, you need liquidity. You need an asset to trade between. You need some place to trade it. So they have to get these different blockchains. Then you need enough money to trade between these different items. And so they take that approach first. And then they already have like certain elements to the game that are developed. So every new realm has some aspects to the game. You can fish, you can farm, you can craft different things, whatever the heck. They're working on people. They just implemented a PvP thing actually. So now you can do PvP, but it's more auto roller type of PvP. Like it matches up with the person, and then one of the people wins based on the stats of their character and stuff like that. But that's all come after they've initialized the economy and the footing and stuff like that of the economy. So there's different ways to take it. But it depends on the project. Those are 3 that I would look out for. And the general conversation from what was this article and the opinion of this guy, I feel like I started to fluctuate away from him a little bit, but I didn't mind the direction we went. I have two last really quick things for us to cover. One is just a quick news update. So no real big opinions needed here. This is just Matic's total value locked. It's higher than Solana and AVAX's. So Avalanche is AVAX and Solana is SOL. So Matic, which Bitfiend said he's really bullish on, has a higher TVL than both of those. Again, I'm really bullish on Matic too. I think this could become like a $5 token during the next bull run. Regardless, even if it's not like about the token itself, the things that are going to be on Matic is something to pay attention to. I just found a Smurfs NFT game that's on Matic, and I was like, oh, first I thought it was like fake. I was like, what is this? Like, because I was looking for like the cheapest transactions happening on OpenSea, so that I could like get some NFTs from my 0 to crypto challenge thing, or $0 to $10 and $0 to $100. I'm like, what NFTs can I buy it for the cheap and get people their first NFTs? Now they got some Matic over here. I saw this thing, and it's got like numbers in ETH. Turns out it's actually backed by the Smurfs, like the real Smurfs IPO and stuff like that. And the game, like I was wondering because it was looking really crisp. I was like, y'all got a big team in this picture. It looks like all this stuff looks really crisp. I'm gonna buy some. It's like
if you don't make a lot of money on Smurfs, you're not doing the right thing today.
You get a free NFT like almost every day from like interacting with the thing and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool system they got over there. So I'm probably gonna use. I'll do too. I'll buy some of it with my actual wallet because it's like $2 to buy one of these things and like make Smurfs and whatever the heck, or two Matic. So it's like a little less than $2. And then my other wallet, I'll try to do it completely from $0. But yeah,
send me that info. I'll fuck with some little blue Smurfs, you know.
It looks pretty cool, bro. I was wondering. I was like, yo, this stuff look way too clean. Why are they like? I thought it was like a Degen like level. You know, people like be like taking like stealing models and stuff, and sometimes
it's
try to make some money real quick.
That bear market, boy. Pick up some trademark NFTs for $2. What?
I think so, though. I think that's really what it is, though. I'm like, excuse me. It reminds me of like when I found VV, because like I found VV like really early, and I was in there looking at VV. I'm like, these things is like $6. It's like these cheap NFTs. I'm like doing my research though, and I'm like, but these are made by like the actual creators of Batman and stuff, like the actual comic book creators. They're making 3D models and stuff like that. Like, yo, like what do these go for in real life? Okay, so some of these action figures go for like $60, $80, whatever the heck. I'm like, so if people catch on to this, like, wouldn't the digital version of it be like worth? I just bought a few for the hell of it, and then like they just skyrocketed. I was like, I can't even buy anymore. Like, oh my god. But it's just being early sometimes. Early.
So one of my biggest mistakes made me so much money, but let's just say that. So instead of buying Vive, I went into TVK.
Oh yeah,
Terra Virtual Collect. I was big into that. I told everyone buy TVK. Now I faded Vive because it was easier to buy TVK than Vive. But if I would have did the work to buy Vive, bro, I would have made so much more money. But like,
I'm still sitting on mine. I'm like, bro. Dude, these are like, there's like, I got some of these NFTs on there. There's like 100, like 500 of them, period, from like old school Batman comic artists never being made again. I'm like, dude, it's too rare. It's actually rare as hell.
Like Vive has gotten a lot more adoption. Like Vive, we can attribute a lot of adoption to Vive instead of like gaming. Like people who are collecting comic book collectibles, Cartoon Network collectibles, whatever the fuck you want to call it, are adopting more than people who are playing games and shit. I think Vive was a massive opportunity, and it probably still is, honestly. But
man, I hope the Omi token boom boom.
You wouldn't believe how many people who have never been into fucking NFTs or crypto who got into it because of Vive, because of a fucking Batman NFT or a Superman comic #1.
That shit look icy too, bro.
Wild, and it's improved significantly over time. And it's just like, man, some projects, some projects do launch their tokens first, and eventually they become a legit project. And you gotta look and see. You gotta, like I said, try it all, have fun, be willing to be wrong. Just don't be like the Infinite. Don't fucking risk more than you have. Don't fucking risk your rent money or your fucking bill.
He said a crypto proverb, which is never risk more than you can afford to lose. Like facts, investing period, never risk more than you can afford to lose. That means like, look, if you lose $100 and you're like, dang it, I really could have used that $100. Like, then you can't afford to lose $100. Maybe you can afford to lose $10, and that's okay.
Fine.
Yeah, that's okay, for real. Especially in the bear market, because the chances are whatever you put money in right now is going to be up like 2x, 5x, 10x. Like it's going to be that much more in a bull market. When you're actually considering selling it, if you want to sell it at that point, because at that point, then you're like, oh, it's going to go to $1 million. Like, maybe you don't want to sell it. But yeah, we're going to wrap up this thing with top 5 altcoins. Yeah. So this article here says top 5 altcoins to watch in 2023. Before I actually go through this top 5 altcoins list, I'm just going to ask our panelists here to help me out with this. And we're going to start with the normie, resident normie. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, gonna ask our resident normie to start us off because this is much more fun. What are your top 5 altcoins?
Do you even know 5 altcoins?
I probably do. I just don't know if they're altcoins or not. It's like, I mean, I'll sit there, I'll look at them, and I'll be like, oh, all right. And sometimes it's like a bunch of letters, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Look, so technically an altcoin is anything that's not Bitcoin is considered an altcoin. They're even cryptocurrencies in general. You could consider Ethereum an altcoin to Bitcoin, but generally Ethereum is also not considered an altcoin generally as well. Just in general speak, it's all the other Ethereum tokens. So ERC20 standard tokens and anything else. So any other blockchain, if it's not Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's generally considered an altcoin, though Ethereum could technically be considered.
Ethereum is like the granddaddy of all altcoins, so it's like hard to call it an altcoin when it like birthed the other altcoins.
Yeah, so it's like it technically is, but but nobody could call it like an altcoin like that. So
yeah, I definitely wouldn't. But
hey, don't talk to no Bitcoin maxis then. It'd be rude with it.
So do I know 5 altcoins then?
I mean, what are your 5?
I ain't got no 5.
What Satoshi and I are going to do? Because we're going to list
5.
We're going to list out 5 altcoins or 5 coins. It can be cryptocurrencies in general, 5 tokens. And it's in your case, if it's nothing that you're like, oh, I feel like this one, like things that maybe you've heard that you're like, okay, these are tokens that I would pay attention to if I was even thinking about it. So
if it's hard for you, go to CoinGecko and just look at the top 100 and pick 5.
You gonna pick 5, all right? Yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
We gonna get these 5.
Sure. We gonna get these 5. And I'll go.
Maybe I'll go. If you want, I can go first and give you some time to get.
No, Satoshi. I'm not allowing him to piggyback off of any of our choices. So I feel like we would influence. Not that it would be a piggyback. I just feel like we'd influence it maybe too much. So I want to see it.
I agree.
Like you and I ourselves could butt, and we would have our own reasons for butting. But I feel like Infinite might be a little bit more influenced being on the outside.
I feel you.
So I'm just gonna go with the 2 that would be real in my opinion, which would be Ethereum if that's allowed to count. Which it's not fair. I really don't
let you slide. We'll let you slide with ETH.
Ethereum. I was always kind of like the first time it really clicked for me. That was the first crypto coin or coin that like I was like, oh, so this is what you guys are on. Okay, all right, I see what's happening here. I was like, all this, it's fake, it's this, it's that. I was like, no, there's some real things in Ethereum, and that was the first coin that I was like, oh, for real, yeah. So I would always stick with Ethereum. I still own some, I remember telling Smurf, I bought it $124. It's like, damn. Wasn't expecting that. And then BNB, just because it seems like it's connected to so many different types of things. There were some things that you mentioned the last conversation, and I really wish I remembered what those coins were, to where it's really hard for me to regurgitate what you said about how they were. I think it was a little bit about the tokenomics, about how they were kind of investing money and stuff and so on and so forth. And I think it might have been something like Polkadot. Man, I don't know, man.
You got 2 down. You're doing great.
He's got 3. He's got
Tron.
he,
Let's do Tron.
he's got 2 more, right?
BNB is Polkadot one. Oh, we're counting Polkadot.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
counts.
count.
Dot counts.
Let's go Polkadot.
Okay, so we'll call it Tron.
And I'm still going down the list.
4.
And Pancake Swap.
Cake.
There we go. Yeah, let's do Cake. That's 5, right?
That is 5.
Let's do that. Because those are all stuff that I still own. That's sitting in my wallet wondering what's happening. Why is there dust in here?
All right, so we got the Infinites 5. Let me put those on screen. Trustless Degens, top 5 altcoins for the Infinite equals Ethereum, BNB, Dot, Tron, and Cake. Initial opinion, he's like shaking his head and stuff. BNB is not to ever be underestimated. Like last bull cycle, like what's BNB sitting at today? I'm imagining like without looking, probably like $200 or something like that, 200 plus.
Strong 2 something. Let me see.
Yeah, strong 2 something. You know what BNB was at the last bull market, Infinite?
No,
about $6.
Oh, it's higher than I thought.
About $6.
Why do I remember cents? Why do I remember BNB worth cents for a little while?
I mean, it could have been more cents for a little while. It was really low.
Was.
It was low. Before that, it was like $2 and stuff like that. And like it has these little halves, and it just goes up, and then it stays up, and then it goes up, and it stays up, and then it just keeps reaching these new ranges. But every time, it like does crazy double ups. So
then yeah, that had a big come up because I remember. I'm not gonna lie. Since the last time we sat down and we dealt with it, and I was bridging shit and doing all that other stuff with you, I'm pretty sure that was cents.
Oh, back then that wasn't cents though.
I remember the lowest I remember BNB being as I've been in the market was like $6. And that's low. It's $258 right now. That's
just like a big come up. It's a big come up. So yeah, BNB, good pick any day of the week. Dot, good pick. Tron, Toshi don't like it. Biffy don't like it. You know, people like give me a lot. Tron, good pick any of the month. I don't
not like Tron. I just like to talk shit about Tron.
I make it easy. But yeah, like in general, like I feel like it's not like a crazy like go up token, but it's also not a crazy go down token either. It's like a decent crypto to actually.
Tron just fucking works, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Works. I'm like, it just works. You can not like it, but it don't not work. It don't not work. It don't not do what it's supposed to do. Like it do everything it's supposed to do. Like, can you make money on Tron? Yes. Like the more money you have, the better off you'll be because it's for big boy dollars. It's like Tron has never been about the crazy stuff. Like, well, for a very short period in crypto DeFi, Tron had like the crazy gains and stuff like that. Everybody was on Tron seeking out the crazy DeFi yields and stuff like that, getting rugged and whatever the heck. And then after that period of like 3 months, which Justin Sun literally told people that was going to happen too. He was like, it's going to be crazy, but some people are going to get really rich. I would suggest you just get out there and try it. Literally his words, bro. And so that period of time went by and then Tron yields went down and became a lot more realistic. They became like 20, 30% yields, depending on the higher risk assets, 8%, 15% yields. If you're dealing with strictly Bitcoin or Ethereum, like 5-6% if you're dealing strictly altcoins. So that's much more realistic. And it's maintained that for years now. And so I'm like, people hate Tron, but there's a reason why Tron has so much TVL on it. It's because people with big boy dollars actually are just like, yeah, I can just put my money on Tron and it's going to work. It worked flawlessly. It works for big amounts of money. It works for mostly stable coins. It do.
24/7. It don't go down.
It don't go down.
Not going down.
And it feels
no
good.
How much
fam. And then Cake. Yeah, Cake also another good pick. Just because the bread and butter of Binance Smart Chain, you could say, it's the yield factory of Binance Smart Chain. The Uniswap of Binance. They've won the DEX wars over there. There's Ape Swap, there's Buy Swap, but let's be real, Pancake Swap is the leaders, true and best. So never a bad choice to go with the market movers in that case. So those are Infinites picked. I'm gonna hand it over to you, Satoshi. Do you have 5 altcoins for us?
I also picked BNB. I also picked Cake. I like BNB a lot. I like the smart chain. I like that they burn BNB tokens constantly. I think that Cake is like a decentralized version of BNB, a more decentralized version. I'll say that. they also burn a lot of tokens. Cake is about $3 now. I imagine during the next bull run, Cake is going to
was like, that's probably what Infinite was thinking about, because Cake was like 60 cents.
Cake
when
was
I first found Cake, it was like, I think when I was getting you in, Cake was around 60 cents or so. Because I first found Cake, it was like 20 cents. And I was like, let me get some of these PSG tokens. Okay. And then I sold my Cake after I made a little bit of money, and it's up at $3 right now, y'all. That's still up.
It went crazy.
Yeah, it went to like 30.
Yeah, it kind of hurt me a little bit, because now I'm like, did I really think BNB was cents? And I was just looking at it like, man, this is just a few cents. All right, click, 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 and I'm like, oh man, I hope not. I hope you guys were wrong, because it's like, a little reckless then.
I think that Cake is going to look a lot like BNB later on in the next bull run. Then I also picked Matic, just because all the bullishness going on with Matic. I like Uniswap because of what they're doing with their governance and with their like the real yield going on, and them generating revenue off of fees, and actually have some real revenue there. And then it's kind of like my last little sleeper pick. I like Phantom, and a lot of the altcoins on Phantom as well, like Boo, and I forget some of the other ones they have on there, but I think the Phantom organization bought some Boo, so that's Spooky Swap. So I think that in the future, these tokens that I've picked have like some real things that will be used on them, and I think they'll be fun to look at a year from now, 2 years from now, the price that these tokens are later on.
Feel it. So again, that's we got BNB, Cake, Matic, Uni, Phantom, and then as an added bonus, Boo, which would be like the Cake of the Phantom blockchain. Although it's got a little competition with things like Spirit Swap and whatnot, but currently the winning, the top dog over there. Pretty good picks. What do I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more to round it out. What would be my next one? What would be my last one to round it out? I'm going to do this one. It's just a fun one because you guys aren't on that. You guys didn't get that Degen with it, so I'm going to get more Degen with one of my picks. I like to get Degen. It would be something that people didn't see coming unless you were deep into the crypto DeFi world. And if you were, you probably already made those gains off of it and are going to continue to. That's why I'm picking this one. I put about $100 in it the other day. I'm just like, let me let this sit in it because it's been doing well throughout the crypto bear market. Token hasn't really gone down much. It's made me a few cents. It's going to continue to go up because it's making fees the entire time. What are your picks, Smurf? Stop talking. What are your picks, man? All right. My picks are Matic. Everybody's been saying Matic. Okay, Polygon. Link. What's Link? Chainlink. Why is that? Because of composability. Because Chainlink is an oracle which price feeds the crypto market. All the price feeds from real world assets. We talked about the potential real world assets and NFTs mixing. There's already real world assets coming onto the blockchain just via tokens and stuff like that. Different blockchains have to work with different blockchains, whatever have you. A lot of this stuff runs through Chainlink. It is impossible to ignore, and it's the winning oracle. It's like, there's a few other oracles, but let's be real, Chainlink is winning it. If I wanted to get into other things like Chainlink that I like, it'd be like stuff like Filecoin or like Storage or something like that. Really, Filecoin. Saya, though I sold all my Saya tokens like a while ago, but I'm proud to see it still doing its thing in the space. But Link. Next up, Dot, and the entire so Polkadot and the Cosmos ecosystem. So I didn't have Cosmos up here, but just these different parachains situations. So that's why I have Dot. Dots really represent my parachains bag. We're parachain Smurf. It's like the Avalanche subnets. What are Avalanche subnets, Smurf? Sorry, my bad. So it's like kind of like how Ethereum has a layer 2 to it. There's Ethereum where things are really expensive, and then Ethereum's able to break off or eventually like shard into smaller sections that are easier to digest for computers. So that's actually what Ethereum sharding is when that happens. Probably making this way too complicated. Basically, there's the main thing, and then there's little subsidiaries of it. And so that's what Polkadot has for its various different chains. There's a main thing, and there's different subsidiaries of it. There's also Avalanche does the same thing. There's the main chain, and there's various different subsidiaries of it. Ethereum does the same thing. There's a main chain, and there's various different subsidiaries of it, which are its L2s. So I like chains that do that because they have a scaling solution. So all those ones that I just mentioned that didn't make my list, the Avalanches and stuff like that, I'm bullish on those too. But Dot, I think, is interesting. Also, Dot recently had this thing where they were talking about it's not a security, it's software and whatever the heck. And I'm like, if they can win that battle, then the token really has a future. Because like if they just convince whoever they need to convince, like, yeah, leave us alone, we're a software, and the token just keep doing what it's doing and stuff, then it's like, wow, you guys are actually just golden and gonna skyrocket. BNB, again, we talked about it previously, like it just goes up too much. Like the next cycle, I would not be I'm not going to be surprised if BNB is $1,000 per token in the next cycle. It's just like you really shouldn't even be surprised because they have halves and stuff like that too. They burn a bunch of tokens every like quarter or some crap. It's like you just can't really be surprised if BNB keeps doing what it's been doing the entire time of its existence. Like it's just going up. That's it. And by incredible leaps and bounds. And it really and I also initially took notice of BNB because of how it acted in the last bear market, which was, it was one of the tokens that dropped the least. Everybody was like suffering and stuff like that. People were like jumping in and out of other tokens and stuff. Like, what do I get into? And other than obviously Bitcoin performed well compared to other tokens in the market, and so did BNB. BNB performed about the best. And so I pay attention to BNB.
The price that BNB is now is it's wild to me because it's like
that boy was $2.
It when the bull run got started, BNB was I want to say $30. Like when it really was when we knew that it was the bull run, we could have probably bought BNB for $30.
Yeah, you could have just stacked up on BNB though. Yeah.
And it's still not went back. It hasn't went back to $30 yet. So I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's still
has held.
It's still up in bull run levels. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you bought BNB, you good.
Yeah.
You playing. You got play money.
If you bought BNB in the last bull run, in the last bear market, you're still looking good. Probably now.
Yeah, you're pretty happy. If you caught BNB at the beginning of the BNB bull run, like when everybody started using Binance Smart Chain, if you caught it at the beginning of that, you're still happy. That's a year into the bull run, fam. Geez.
Or do you remember when people were buying BNB to put it on Binance to buy all those those ICOs that Binance was doing?
Yeah,
that was wild. That's when I feel like BNB was maybe in between $15 and $30 was when Binance started with that launch pad, and then after the launch pad, they started making the Binance Smart Chain, and then BNB just went crazy.
Make the club go crazy. And then my last one on the list, the Degen option. Let's roll it in here and do my. You guys can't see my. There
you were itching to talk about GMX.
I was itching to talk about GMX. Oh my goodness, GMX and the real yield. Oh. Yeah. So GMX.
Talk dirty to us, Smurf. Talk
GMX.
Dirty to us, bro.
Why GMX, Smurf? Why GMX? You said you thought Cake was like BNB. I consider GMX to be a lot more like BNB. Cake, I would say, is a lot more like Uniswap token, or CRV, Curve token, one of these governance tokens for those protocols, and you can use it. But Cake has a little bit more utility than Curve has its utility too. So that's a subjective argument. But I see it as a lot more of one of those tokens, a token attached to a certain type of DEX, an AMM DEX, an automated market maker DEX. One of these DEXs where you supply liquidity and you get a portion of the fees in that. GMX is this other type of token, and why I'm considering comparing it to a BNB token, because with BNB, if you have the BNB token, you actually get benefits from using it, from using Binance Smart Chain, or not Binance Smart Chain, Binance. So you have BNB, the purpose of BNB token initially is that you get benefits when you use Binance for trading. You get like reduction of fees and whatever the heck. And so that was a portion of that. Now I think they also have like staking of the BNB token over there too. But regardless, it's like you're earning fees from Binance for using BNB, and you're saving on some fees on Binance from using BNB. GMX is similar, but it's a decentralized token. And at the beginning of the last, I'm going to call it the Binance Smart Chain bull run, when things shifted from Ethereum to Tron to Binance Smart Chain, I was looking for a project on Binance Smart Chain, not knowing at the time that I was looking for more of a real yield type of project. But I was looking for something that dealt with leverage trading. Because I like that you could leverage trade on Binance, you could leverage trade on all these other platforms and stuff like that. That's what people are used to seeing. They're used to seeing trading where you can go, I want to use, instead of my $100, I want to do 3x on that and make it $300, or 20x on that and make it $2,000. Like that's what people typically do. And you couldn't do that in DeFi at the beginning of the Binance Smart Chain bull run. It just wasn't existent. They were talking about doing that on other platforms on Ethereum. The idea was starting to crop up on Ethereum in development. And Binance Smart Chain projects were promising that they would start to do that and start to develop tools for that and stuff. A lot of them never actually happened. But that's what I was looking for and investing in and stuff like that early on. And now in the bear run, we actually have those projects coming out. We have the Gains Network projects. We have the DopeX, which is options. We have GMX, which is perpetual trading, aka these leverage trading markets and stuff like that. And you can use these tokens to get benefits, to get those benefits, the staking benefits, get actual fees from the platform done in a decentralized way. So like, yes, every time people make and lose money, and there's fees that come out from people doing leverage trading in DeFi, you get paid because you have GMX token. It's also one of the few tokens that is not down in the last year. GMX is not down in the last year. It's up like 40% or something like that. It's up like 40%. It dropped like 30% last month, and it's still up like 40% from like year to date. Like it's like the token has been doing gravy. You look at the chart, the token does not look bad on the chart right now. It's at a low right now, and it's still looking bullish. People have just been making money off. So it's GMX for me. Something that I've been looking for. Something that we found as the market gets more and more bullish, more money is going to flood in, and that means people that hold GMX and utilize GMX are going to make more money. That's my hypothesis on that. Like, unless the platform just suddenly dies and all of a sudden people no longer want to do leverage trading, which is like one of the things that you do in any type of market, you do leverage trading. You do borrowing and lending, you do leverage trading, you do spot trading. Those are the tradings that you do. You do options trading. I think it's going to be fine. That's my token. That's my take. Yeah.
Buy all the tokens.
Buy them all and then be happy. Yes, Keanu. That pretty much wraps us for the day. Do we have any closing comments as we lead the folks out today?
We've been going a long way, but I think the question that you wanted to end on was the whole, how do we feel about the market? And, I guess I'll give my take again. I still kind of feel the same way. I do feel like something's going to break, with all the world kind of situation. Things may be doing well, and that doesn't mean everything's going to go to shit. I just honestly think that we are kind of shifting in a major way, and more than just finances and so on and so forth. So as that plays out in the world and the world continues to get weirder,
get weird.
We'll see where it goes, and it's not doom and gloom for me, because I don't want people to think that's doom and gloom. It's just, hey, some people call it a correction. Some people just call it, hey, bad things happen in life. It's a part of the cycle. I'm kind of a little bit expecting that and then prepared to move on from it. But, it's just kind of how I'm feeling and thinking. But yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right, Mr. Satoshi.
I'm gonna try not to get us canceled. Like we've been dealing with lately, macros. These governments fucked up and gave everyone panini sandwiches for it, and everyone fucking like for a bit. And now the government's like, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna suffer first, and so we're like now, and we'll see if we can not suffer in a couple years from now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it like during the last finance was, I feel like, was when Bitcoin kind of got popping. Like, I was thinking about if I really noticed that there was like an issue, And I don't remember ever really being like, oh yeah, this is much worse than last year, or this is much worse than 2 years ago. Like, no, like as people who are taking risks on risk assets, like I feel like we're more exposed to the pain of losing, uh, value tied to money. So a lot of people, kind of are looking at macro and they're like, it doesn't make sense to them that much has changed because, it's not really affecting their pocketbooks or, they might not have investment portfolios or something like that. But I feel like once you start looking into that stuff, you start to get affected by this macro shit. And it's just like, man, it hurts until it doesn't. And right now it just kind of hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
And the Fed is trying to, I feel like they tried to like scare everyone. I don't know if they're playing chicken with us or they're like, yeah, we ain't budging. We're not shaking. But I think that like Infinite said, they're either trying to break something or they're like trying to get us to that point where it's almost going to break and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna flip in the nick of time. But I feel like they're always going to fuck something up no matter what. Like, that's what's going to happen. Moral of the story, they're going to fuck it up and we'll make some money when they fuck it up, or we'll lose it all.
Waiting for it. I'm like, I'm waiting for you to flip that switch. Waiting for you to flip. I'm really waiting for you to print more money. When are you gonna print more money, Jerome?
You want to go ahead and push the printer on, Jerome?
Turn that button on, Jerome. Yeah. So, what are my feelings on the market on current? In terms of the fiat world, I'll call it. So that's banks, stocks, bonds, fiat in general. I think the fiat world is in trouble. Due to some correlation in cryptocurrency world, has some play to do. But generally speaking, the worse off the longer is what I'll say. The longer the fiat world suffers, and I'll pull this up really quickly. The longer the fiat world suffers, I think will end up being a better scenario for crypto, for Ethereum, for Bitcoin, because this was happening beforehand. Before 2020, Bitcoin and Ethereum were on the rise. They were on the rise in 2019, 2018. And why is that? I think because of what they kind of already are established to do, Bitcoin especially, which is that it's like the sound money principle. There's only a finite amount of Bitcoin. If there's demand for Bitcoin price bound to go up, other than the fact that Bitcoin is payment rail system, etc. Ethereum, which is why I have the ultrasound money website up right here now, is very similar. Ethereum is programmable money, as people like to call it, or ultrasound money. Ethereum does the exact same thing that the Federal Reserve is attempting to do successfully, which is they do their elastic supply and thing. So they print more money into the market, and people can get Ethereum easily, and then they make it harder to do. So they pull money out of the market when they burn Ethereum. Ethereum does that, but it does it programmatically. So there's no emotions going into play. No, we should bail out such and such person. No, well, this person, blah, blah. There's nothing, no politics, nothing like that going into it. Straight up numbers, math. As more people use it, as less people use it, these things happen. It balances out. With more and more people using it, price going to go up. Price is pretty much forced to go up as people continue to use it, as more wallets are being made that use it, whatever, as more use cases come along. It's just kind of forced to happen with both of these currencies. And so while the fiat world may struggle for whatever time period, I think generally speaking, these big cryptos, these big are going to be fine due to those reasons, because that's kind of like what they're made to solve, these issues that we already knew existed. When you look at the purchasing power of the United States dollar over the last 100 years, whatever the heck, it's not up. It's not upward. You're not making more for every dollar that you've had over the last 100 years. You're making less. And so that's pretty much the proposition of why crypto exists and stuff, to fix some of these issues that we've had with currencies. And it's not just United States dollar, it's currencies throughout history. The only ones that last are sound currencies, the silvers, the golds, and for good reason. And so we have this digital version that's meant to last the test of time, to last past our planet. And yeah, I think they'll continue to survive, and they'll bring all this other technology that had especially the ones that have actual benefits that actually fix some of these things, that actually bring the concepts of banks and whatever other things that we need on chain, will also survive and do successful. And that's my take on things. It's macro's not that great, but at the same time, a year, 2 years from now, I think crypto, in particular, and certain companies, if you pick the right company, are going to be crazy bullish. So, especially if they turn back on the money printer, and we had so much money that like the money supply is inflated regardless. It was already going to be inflated. It got inflated that much worse than possible than like you could have probably ever imagined. I don't think most people can concept how bad it got.
Yeah,
and they're not just going to suddenly fix that. No amount of like decreasing or increasing the rates right now is going to fix that. It's not.
That's what bothered me about what the Fed said, is they were like, "Oh yeah, if we pivot now, then it could be really bad for inflation." Acting like everything they did the last 20 years has not been fucking absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
for
I'm like,
inflation.
inflation's already
Wait
bad,
a minute.
bro.
Yeah, y'all already killed it. You already fucked it up. Like, it's already bad. It ain't gonna get any better than you already did to it. So I mean, fuck it up real bad now.
Yeah, it's silly. But yeah, more people are paying attention to inflation now, so I guess that's a good thing. People like actually understand some of it. But yeah, that's today's episode of Trustless Degens. We went a long time, but we got some good talks in. We were supposed to play some big time, but we'll have to set that aside for another time, and maybe just do something very specific toward big time, so we can actually just do a big time economy and play day. And what have you, because it is a game that did make my list of blue chip games that I think will succeed. Yeah,
Big time is like a whole episode by itself. Like, we had a lot to get to for fucking the new year, and we took
it's a new year. Yeah. Well, that's it from us tonight, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Trustless Degens, the show where we talk about everything, insert buzzword here, and crypto and macro markets. We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
Do say.